They expect the temperature to make it up to 60 degrees this afternoon. That would be a heat wave here in Pittsburgh. The Steelers have won the toss. It's only 48 degrees now, but beautiful skies. Just a terrific day for football. Ralph Venerska will kick it away for San Diego. Rich Ehrenberg limbering up inside the 5. As 2 6-6 teams, one of them, well, if we don't end in an overtime tie, one hopes to emerge with a winning record, heading down to the last couple of games of 1984.
Then you can already see those shadows are starting to creep into this stadium. And as the game goes on, it's going to get colder on the field, and I think that's probably an advantage for Pittsburgh.
Ehrenberg at the 5. And the rookie from Colgate gets to the 25, and that's where the Steeler offense will take over. 20-yard return for Ehrenberg. Pittsburgh led by Mark Malone. The slight concussion against New Orleans. He's back in there. Walter Abercrombie gets the start today with Frank Pollard. John Stallworth having a terrific comeback year. Lewis Lips, the fine rookie, and Darrell Nelson will be an upset if he catches a pass today. They just don't throw the tight ends. The offensive line, Blake Wingle getting the start at right guard. Terry Long nursing a thigh injury. So, first down for Pittsburgh at the 25. Throwing on first down. Walter Abercrombie gains 3 on the play. Mike Green, the leading tackler for San Diego, linebacker over to make the stop. So checking that San Diego defense, which ranks last against the pass in the NFL. Front 3 has to get some pressure on Malone. Chuck Ian. Bill Elko gets the start at nose tackle. Keith Ferguson. Linebackers, good crew, led by Green, who made the last tackle. Defensive backs, they've given up a lot of pass yardage, the most of any team in the NFL. They've got to get things going today. 2nd and 7 at the 28 for Pittsburgh. And that's Pollard straight ahead. And he stumbles near a first down. And Ken Green. So 2 Greens on the defense. Ken Green, the strong safety, making that stop. So you said they'd run the ball, and they did it on 2nd down here.
Well, Mark Malone complained to the coaches last week against New Orleans. He said, every time on first down we've run the ball. Let's just change it up. Let's just do something a little different. So I guess he got his wish here in this game against the Chargers. But I still think they're going to keep it on the ground primarily.
3rd and short at the 34. Anthony Quirley in motion. This is Pollard, and there's a first down for the Steelers. Tim Fox, free safety, making the tackle. So back come the wide receivers, and Abercrombie into the lineup. Out go Elton Fields and Quirley and the tight end John Rogers. First down at the 36 for Pittsburgh. Just underway at Three River Stadium. Pittsburgh struggling. They've lost 2 in a row. San Diego, the thrilling overtime win over Miami last Sunday. And Pollard gets good running room out close to the 45. Tim Fox and Woody Lowe on the tackles.
I think Frank was a little surprised on that carry, because when he ran through the line of scrimmage, he wasn't touched by anyone until he got past the line of scrimmage, and it wasn't until the linebackers from the Chargers came up to make the play. Good blocking on that left side, starting with the center Mike Webster and Craig Wolfley, left guard.
So 17 yards for Pollard. His personal best as a 5-year pro, 617 yards. And Malone on 2nd down, out to Pollard. And he's stopped short of a first down. Lyndon King covering on the play. So the crowd a bit quiet for Three River Stadium as the Steeler offense, as we said, has been a bit tentative.
They've thrown the ball, but both of the passes that they've thrown have been really just swing passes. What out in San Francisco we call long handoffs, and I guess in San Diego they say the same thing. So they're being fairly conservative with the football. They don't want to turn the ball over. That's the main thing. They want to drive the ball down there, kick it, make San Diego work back against their good defensive unit.
This is 3rd and a long 2 at the Pittsburgh 44. 4-man front for San Diego, anticipating the pass, and they get it. Malone looking for Lewis Lips. He's got him for a first down in San Diego territory. The Three Rivers crowd yells "Lou" for Lips. John Turner, the cornerback, covering a 14-yard pass play to an exciting rookie in Lewis Lips.
Watch how Lewis Lips, he reads the quarterback. He knows that he doesn't have it open. Then he just drifts out to the outside, jumps up and makes a nice catch. It's like a basketball player. He positioned himself between the defensive back and the football. That's a nice job of reading the coverage and making the move to the right place by Lips.
So the first completion for Malone to a wide receiver today. First down at the 44. The Steelers are marching. Pollard gets the call and goes ahead for a couple of yards.
You know, Len, I mentioned the primary reason that the Steelers want to run the football is that by doing so, particularly if they can get a couple of first downs, is they keep that ball away from the very dangerous stand fouls.
Chuck Noll over on the sidelines. It's amazing. The guy's never been a major coach of the year. I mean, he is in the eyes of Steeler fans, the 4 Super Bowl wins, but maybe he's doing his best job coaching this year.
Well, he certainly had some adverse situations, as have a lot of people. Particularly, it's difficult to find players now with the USFL around.
Second and 8 at the 41. Lewis Lips has another one, and another Pittsburgh first down inside the 30. Down to the 28 before Mike Green and Lyndon King team up. So Malone is starting to do it.
Well, he had no hesitation on that pass play, although it wasn't one that was very long. Watch, he just gets up and throws that ball right out there, right on the money. And as a receiver, this is the kind of thing that you want to do. You want to be able to catch that quick pass and try to get the cornerback to come up a little bit. Try to draw him up, then you can go deep on him.
Lips had the punt return touchdown last week, first in a decade for the Steelers. He's running a touchdown, caught a touchdown pass. Malone is 4 for 4 this afternoon passing. Abercrombie. And he's tripped up on a good defensive play in the backfield by Bill Elko. The snake collector starting at nose tackle today for the San Diego Chargers.
This is where the field starts to shrink for the offense. You get down in this territory, the defensive backs, they're not afraid of long passes. So now it becomes more difficult to throw the football. This is where a running team starts to gain the edge. When they get down in this territory, you need those offensive linemen blocking and running backs carrying the load. Second and 9 at the 27. Frank Pollard has to hold on to it if he runs. Had a couple of fumbles last week when he was hurt. The pressure from Woody Lowe. Ball is stripped loose, but it's ruled dead. And credit a sack for the linebacker, Lowe. Nine-year player out of Alabama with his 3rd sack of the year. So a couple of strong defensive plays, and that has to excite Don Coryell, who's probably a surprise by Pittsburgh, because Woody Lowe, you know, he's only 6 foot 219, is a good pass coverage man. Usually he is in the coverage, not the one coming on the blitz. But there he is, number 51, right in the middle of the screen, and he beats a big man. That's the guard, Craig Wolfley, that he beats for the sack. It's 3rd and 19 from the 37 as finally the drive has come a cropper. 3 wide receivers in the lineup now for the Steelers. Malone overthrowing Rich Ehrenberg on the far side, and Pittsburgh will have to punt it away. Lucius Smith supplying the coverage on the far side. So the Pittsburgh defense stiffens after Malone collected a couple of first downs against them. Is there slow walking off the field, but it is 4th down. The key play was that blitz by Woody Lowe. The Chargers were in trouble. You know, Anderson, the word goes up, they're going to try a long field goal here. They will not punt it away. Gary Anderson comes on, who had a career-high 53-yard field goal. And now he'll try a 55-yard attempt with Colquitt, the punter, holding. The crowd likes the idea of going for 3. 55-yard attempt. Gary Anderson for a career high. There it is. Gary Anderson. 55 yards. It's 3-0 Steelers. The congratulations and the roar of the crowd for Gary Anderson. 3rd year out of Syracuse. The 55-yard field goal. Steelers on top. Congratulations to Gary Anderson, teeing it up now for the Steelers. A new team record 55-yard field goal with 6:25 gone first quarter. And the Steelers break on top 3-0. I think he would have made that one from 60. Beautiful kick. This is Buford McGee at the 3. He scored the winning touchdown in overtime against Miami. And on the kickoff return gets out across the 20. So now we'll get a look at the high-powered Charger offense as Dan Fouts leads them on the field, and the Steelers taking a 3-0 lead. So, history-making day. Perhaps we'll see Charlie Joyner make some history shortly. We'll be right back. The
Charger offense, most of the time they'll go with the 2 tight ends. Eric Sievers, who had a fine week against Miami, and Pete Holohan. Charlie Joyner looking for a record. The offensive line, Gissinger gets the start at center. Masek with a hamstring injury. First down at the 23. Fouts was heavily pressured, goes as an incompletion. The Pittsburgh defense in there. And Edmund Nelson getting the start for the Pittsburgh defense. On the defensive line. In for Keith Gary. So it's Goodman, Nelson, and Dunn, the front 3 for Pittsburgh. So 2nd and 10 at the 23. There's a completion to Jesse Bendros, the rookie out of Alabama, and he's up to the 29. So we're seeing some lineup changes early for both squads. Chris Brown supplying the coverage. Dan Fouts, what a week last week. Wasn't it, Gene? Threw 56 passes, completed 30. I wonder if his arm got tired. He said, no, it's just like a practice session out there against Miami.
And you know, one thing that was really fascinating about their game last week, they had 4 scoring drives that averaged 86 yards in each drive. And that's really amazing.
On 3rd and 3, Jack Lambert, the old man, is in at linebacker with that dislocated toe of his. Holohan goes in motion. Complete. That's Holohan. Right around the first down marker. Ball popped loose. Eric Williams covering. Ruled dead. Right around the 33. Which is good enough for a San Diego first down. Look at this. Holohan just caught that pass. So make it 107 completions for the tight ends for San Diego. And the Steelers just completing 9 all year long. That's really taking a lot out of your offense when you don't throw to your tight ends and the defense knows it.
Well, it sure does. They've tried to make up for it, though, by throwing the ball to Rich Ehrenberg. But as you say, though, it really doesn't make up for that. The fact that they haven't gotten the ball to the tight ends.
First down to 33 for San Diego. Jackson's first carry, the AFC's leading rusher. And doesn't get much at all. The Pittsburgh defense is one of the stronger defenses in the AFC. 2nd against the rush, 3rd against the pass. David Little, linebacker, along with Mike Merriweather. Good, strong linebackers for Pittsburgh. Little and Merriweather, Robin Cole, Brian Hinkle. Jack Lambert comes in on passing situations.
That's the strength of their defense, the linebackers. Not only are they tough, but they're extremely fast. They have the speed of wide receivers. Merriweather, I understand, runs a 4.5 40-yard dash, and that's what you look for from a wideout, never mind a linebacker.
Did you ever run 4.5?
Ran a 4.4, thank you.
All right, just checking. 2nd down. Draw play, and again, nothing for the San Diego running backs. John Goodman covering that play. Jackson twice in a row stopped for no gain. So it's 3-0 Pittsburgh here. Let's go to New York.
All right, Lindy, the Redskins have gotten out quickly now at RFK Stadium. Joe Theismann hooks up with Art Monk, the 17th touchdown pass of the year for Theismann. The play covers 11 yards. It is 7-0 Redskins over Buffalo.
Thank you, Bill. Of course, they've had wide receivers in Washington. Charlie Taylor, the all-time wide receiver king, and Charlie Joyner, 4 catches to tie him today. 3rd and 11. Jackson actually lost a yard on the last play. And there's Holohan wide open over the middle into Pittsburgh territory at the 47. Eric Williams covering. Gene, I have to ask you, Pittsburgh defense knows it's going to the tight ends. Why can't they do something about it? 20-yard pickup.
They got caught in a zone coverage. Dan Fouts looks them off. Really, his tight end is a secondary receiver. He waits for them to clear the linebacker. Did you see how he waited? He got behind Robin Cole. Robin Cole was looking for that short pass, and he just waited and waited. Holohan got behind him for the first down. But Pittsburgh has had their problems with tight ends. Last week, Larry Hardy and Junior Miller, 2 touchdowns for the Saints. Before that, M.L. Harris gave them problems. Cincinnati.
Flag is down. First down at the 48.
3 down for the Chargers.
And it's tipped away nicely by Little. It's intended again for Holohan. Let's see what referee Jim Tunney says. He'll rule offside against Pittsburgh. John Goodman, perhaps the man who jumped. We'll listen.
I mean, last week when the Chargers upset, well, he's going to tell us. We'll listen to this.
Offside, defense, 95, still first down.
It was Goodman.
When the Chargers upset Miami, Miami came into that game, and they figured the way to stop the Charger offense was to play 5 and 6 defensive backs. But what San Diego did on a lot of those situations, they countered with 3 running backs. So it was a chess game going on back and forth. It'll be interesting to see how Pittsburgh plays. They usually blitz a lot.
1st and 5 at the 42. Holohan, this is the Pete Holohan show, and that's a first down again for San Diego at the Pittsburgh 35, working against Dwayne Woodruff. So we kept looking for the wide receivers. Charlie Joyner looking for a record, and Wes Chandler, but Fouts again going to his tight ends. And it's a first down once again for the Chargers. There's Charlie Joyner. St. Louis also in an NFC East race, leading 7-0. That's our score here. Pittsburgh 3-0 over San Diego. First down at the Pittsburgh 35. Buford McGee fumble on the play, and it took a while for them to see it. The players say the Steelers have it, and now Jim Tunney does as well. Mike Merriweather on the fumble recovery. Pittsburgh gets it back on the turnover.
You know, last week against Miami, the Chargers didn't have 1 fumble in that game. It was the first time they hadn't done it since 1982.
So after the fumble recovery by Mike Merriweather, San Diego defense now has to come back on. We're going to take a look at Mike Green, who's the top tackler on the team, Gene. A 9th pick last year out of Oklahoma State, really blossomed here in the San Diego linebacking corps.
Well, of course, Billy Ray Smith got all the notoriety to be the #1 pick, but it was Mike Green who really came on and sort of stole the show. And he is something in the middle. We'll watch him as this game goes along today.
San Diego defense toughened when they had to last time out. First down Pittsburgh, they're 38. Abercrombie comes in motion. And Pollard gets the handoff. And Pollard's wrestled out the 40 by Lyndon King and our man, Mike Green. Well, let's check in with NFL 84 in New York.
All right, Lenny, you know the Oilers have been playing well the past 2 weeks, but they've fallen behind against Cleveland as the Browns scored in their first possession. Paul McDonald to Brian Brennan, and a 14-yard touchdown pass. He gets in the end zone. Cleveland leads Houston 7-0.
All right, thank you, Bill. Mike Green on the last play.
Mike Green fighting off the blocks and showing that good lateral pursuit, gets over and gets an assist on the tackle with Lyndon King. Adds to his total.
2nd and 8 at the 40. Abercrombie. Bust free. Midfield. Abercrombie first down in San Diego territory. Ken Green, Tim Fox on the tackle. 12-yard pickup. Abercrombie, a fellow who was booed a bit opening day. The fans wanted to see what Franco Harris's replacement could do. He's coming back now strong from injuries, and he's showing what he could do right here, Gene.
Well, he had 63 yards and 11 carries in his last game. That was a season high. And if this team is going to be a good team running the football, this is the man who really has to do the job. He is the only runner they have who is truly explosive and can go all the way.
First down at the 49. Complete to John Stallworth. Pick up a 5. The last play, Abercrombie made a good move to get away from the official, setting the screen in the middle of the field. John Lineback, the umpire, right in the middle. All right, Stallworth had just those 8 catches last year. Real nominee for comeback player of the year after his broken leg. Now 62 receptions this year. And this will be a 2nd and 5 at the San Diego 44. Malone 4 for 4 passing today. The I formation in the backfield for Pittsburgh. Second man is Abercrombie. And he bounces off 2 would-be tacklers and finally dragged down by Chuck Ian, the defensive left end. Abercrombie did well to get away from 2 Charger tacklers, couldn't avoid the 3rd, and that'll be a loss on the play. Mark it back to the 46, a loss of 2. This will be 3rd and 7.
You know, in talking with Tom Bass from the Chargers before the game, he said that he feels so good to finally have some cornerbacks back in his lineup. He's played so many games with safeties having to play the corner position. Presented an awful lot of problems, and they feel that they've sort of settled down back. They've gotten some people back. He feels good about his secondary.
Let's see what they do here. Facing 3rd and 7 at the 46. Ehrenberg was open, and Malone overthrew him, and Malone knows it. Malone reacting. He had Ehrenberg open over the middle, and Malone just clearly overthrew him. So now, for sure, Pittsburgh will punt this time. Gary Anderson, if you're just joining us, a record 55-yard field goal for the Steelers. And now with 1:15 left in the first quarter, Pittsburgh will punt it away to the smallest player in the National Football League, Lionel James, at 5'6". Look at this little guy. San Diego's had trouble returning long. Their longest punt return just 12 yards this year. Gee, that's highly unusual. Colquitt, who will not get a return here. Colquitt aiming for the corner, and he's got it. Colquitt's the best in the league at doing that, and this one comes up at the 7-yard line for Craig Colquitt. And that's where the San Diego offense will take over. 39-yard punt out of bounds at the 7 for Colquitt. Now, next Saturday, PBA Fall Tour continues, bowling at its best here on NBC. Well, I don't think it's a secret. San Diego playing in the toughest division in the AFC. Pittsburgh in the weakest. They both have the same records at 6-6. But look at the overall records of the two divisions. And of course, that points out what you said in the pregame show, Gene, how San Diego 6-0 outside the West, and a startling 0-6 inside their own division. First down at the 7. Wes Chandler in motion. Going on first down. Looking for Chandler. Underthrowing him. That's the Pittsburgh defense, which has recovered one fumble. Stops Fouts on first down here. Washington extends it to 10. Well, I guess Buffalo had their Thanksgiving last Sunday against Dallas. Now it's back to the real world against the Washington Redskins. Cincinnati, we'll see Cincinnati next Sunday. Cincinnati and Cleveland. Bengals, of course, trailing Pittsburgh by 2 games, and Cincinnati has the edge in the tiebreak. So we'll keep a close eye on how the Bengals are doing today. They lead Atlanta early. 2nd and 10 at the 7 for Dan Fouts. Bendros, a gain of 5. Chris Brown covering. So we're looking for Charlie Joiner to set a record, but a ball has not been thrown his way yet. That one goes out to the rookie Bendros.
What Dan Fouts is doing is he's putting Wes Chandler and Charlie Joiner on the same side of the field. Therefore, he's almost forcing Pittsburgh to double cover that area, to put more of their people over there. So on this far side, he puts Bendros out there by himself, and he has that one-on-one. The only person who can stop that pass is a linebacker. He's not getting out there.
We got a flag on the play, Gene. It's a penalty against Chandler on a motion call. Oh, and they turn it down. So instead of 2nd and 15, they'd rather have a 3rd and 5. Interesting choice by the Pittsburgh defense. 3rd and 5 at the 12 instead of a 2nd and 15 from the 2.
Well, with the way the Chargers throw the football, I think I might have made the same decision.
51 seconds remain in this quarter, so that statistic may stay intact. Holohan goes in motion. Holohan does not get it. So it was the right call on the last penalty by Chuck Noll and company, and San Diego will have to punt it away as Pete Holohan could not grab that ball, which was underthrown. So Fouts off a bit now, Gene.
Interesting thing, though, that the 2 passes that Dan has thrown short have both been to the right side, going from the shade to the sunlight. I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, but both of them underthrown by a couple of yards, and that's certainly not characteristic of Dan Fouts.
Maury Buford will stand in his end zone in the shadows. And Lewis Lipps back at his 40. Lipps returned one for a touchdown against New Orleans. Beautiful punt by Buford. Drives Lipps all the way back to the 31. And Lipps gets out to the 41, and that's where the Steeler offense will take over with 34 seconds remaining first quarter and a 3-0 lead. So a 56-yard punt by Maury Buford. Eric Williams covering on the play. Pittsburgh takes over. They lead it 3-0.
We're looking at the defensive strategy of the Chargers. That's Tom Bass's hand you see down there, sort of bandaged up, who's usually down on the field. And Lenny, you have a...
Well, the story is he's the defensive coordinator and suffered a shoulder injury trying to recover some balls for the ball boy. Needed surgery after last Sunday's game, and Don Coryell just patted him on the shoulder, said, "Great game, Tom," and nearly buckled his knees, and then went in for surgery that night. First down from the 41, complete to Lewis Lipps again. First down in San Diego territory at the 44. 15-yard pickup for the rookie Lipps before Ken Green could track him down.
Well, Mark Malone looks like Dan Fouts on reading this pass coverage. Number 24, Ehrenberg makes this possible by pulling the people to the outside. Lips just hooks right up in between the zones. Gets a reception.
I don't think they'll get another playoff in this first quarter. Seconds tick away. A quarter marked by Gary Anderson's Pittsburgh record 55-yard field goal. Louis Lips had a fine first quarter. The San Diego defense has been stopped cold. One fumble recovered by Mike Merriweather along the way. So that's the story after one quarter. Pittsburgh on top. We'll be right back, everybody. Charlie Joyner says he doesn't want the game stopped. If he gets the record today, he needs 5 receptions to be #1 all time. Shut out so far. Hasn't even had a ball thrown his way. First down for Pittsburgh at the San Diego 44 as we begin the second quarter. Abercrombie. And another good run for Abercrombie. Runs it to Stallworth. Breaks free at the 25 and down inside the 20. 27-yard pickup for Walter Abercrombie. This is a big weekend for Baylor and their fans. Beating Texas yesterday, and the Baylor grad here, Abercrombie, his second fine run of the afternoon inside the 20.
This is what the Steelers have been looking for from Abercrombie since he came here. This is his 3rd year. As I mentioned before, last week, 63 yards was his best of the season. And he is the explosive runner that they've been looking for a long time around here. That play is an example of the kind of ability that he has.
First down at the 19. Pittsburgh with a 3-0 lead. Pollard straight ahead to the 15 before he's tripped up. So with Pittsburgh on the move, we'll go on the move as well. Let's go to New York City now.
All right, Lenny, we want to show you what just happened in Cleveland. Houston on an all-out blitz. Keith Bostic steals the ball from Paul McDonald. Bostic goes 25 yards to the touchdown. They called it a fumble, and it's all tied up at 7.
Fumble, Bill, looked like a handoff to the other team. Second down now at the 15 for Pittsburgh. Pick up a 4 on the last play. Plenty of time. A helmet is stripped free from Snell, the lineman. Is it a touchdown? Yes, for Louis Lips.
Louis Lips, who returned from an ankle injury a few weeks ago, reminds you of Lynn Swann. Look at this. Jumps up. Beautiful catch. Sort of reminds you of Dwight Clark's catch against Dallas for the 49ers. Let's watch again. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful catch by Louis Lips. I thought that Malone was trying to throw this ball away. I thought he'd just, run out of time and said, let's get rid of it. Touchdown.
And Gary Anderson, who hasn't missed an extra point all year, doesn't miss one here either. It's 10-0 Pittsburgh. Louis Lips, the rookie, putting on a terrific show at Three River Stadium. Lips' 7th touchdown reception to go along with a punt return and a rush touchdown. He's a candidate for AFC Rookie of the Year. Line drive kickoff from Anderson. Taken by Lionel James at the 10. And the little guy gets up to the 26. And that's where San Diego's offense will start. They've been struggling. In the first quarter, they had 45 yards passing, -4 yards rushing, despite the fact they've got the AFC's leading rusher in Ernest Jackson. James, despite his size, gets up to the 26.
First and 10, San Diego ball. They're on 21-yard line. 26 yards.
Dan Fouts has had a struggling first quarter. Trying to get things going here early in the second. Holohan comes in motion. Throwing for Holohan again. Free ball.
Intercepted.
And the Steelers have it again. Another turnover. Mike Merriweather, an interception to go along with his fumble recovery today. And Pittsburgh in business once again, leading 10-0.
That's the old saying, you entertain on offense and you win on defense. That's what the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing, utilizing their terrific defense. That time was Merriweather on the interception. Watch number 57, Mike Merriweather, the linebacker for the Steelers. He's in the middle of your screen, and I think what happened is that he was going in one direction, had his back turned. Fouts thought he was going to continue to go, but he turned around at the last minute, tipped that ball up, and then came up with an interception. It's his first of the year.
What a day he's having. Leads the team in sacks as well. First down at the San Diego 32. Pressure on the Charger defense, trailing 10-0 here early second quarter. Abercrombie. And they're rushing on the ground against San Diego. Diego, which has been tight on defensively against the rush this year, Gene. And Pittsburgh, as you predicted earlier, they're doing it on the ground.
Well, they accomplish a couple of things, you know, particularly when you can get a back like Abercrombie, who last week had a good game. As his confidence builds, the better his rushing is going to become. It's just like any other player on the field. If you're a receiver, if you start to catch some balls, your confidence builds and everything just swells and everything's getting much better. And that's what's happening to their team running the football.
2nd and 1, throwing, short situation. Another completion to Lips at the 10. Another first down. So it's Mike Merriweather on defense for Pittsburgh. Offensively, it's Lewis Lips and Walter Abercrombie, and those are the 3 stars so far.
There's very little that the defensive back can do about this play. It's a timing play thrown right in front of the defensive back. The only man who can really stop this is if it's a strong safety who's come up into a short zone or a linebacker.
Full 12 minutes plus. Malone checking off, it looks like. First down just outside the 10. Early second quarter. Stallworth close to the goal line. Stopped short at the 2. Woody Lowe covering along with Billy Ray Smith. So Malone is on target.
When it rains, it pours. What's working for Pittsburgh is not working for the Chargers. Watch how Stallworth, he reads. This ball is going to be thrown, coming in there right into traffic. Now there's a chance that the Chargers could have knocked it away, but Stallworth held on, tried to get into the end zone, but the Chargers held him out on about the 1-yard line.
That's where they mark it. Pittsburgh will have 3 cracks from the 1. Two tight ends, everyone bunched together. Pollard, touchdown Steelers, 16-0. So the 2 turnovers have resulted in Pittsburgh touchdowns.
The man in motion is going to make the block right in the middle. That's where it happens. Frank Pollard goes in for the touchdown. Anthony Corley, number 40, the man who made that block, got Pollard into the end zone.
Pollard's 3rd score of the year. Now Anderson will try to make it 17-0. And it's good again. So Pittsburgh was a slight favorite coming in. They've got a 17-0 lead with a full 11 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the second quarter as Frank Pollard heads right up the middle. No question there. Pittsburgh's rolling. So Pollard with the short touchdown burst. They were working on his arm a moment ago. Seems okay. Pittsburgh now leading 17-0. It's Pollard and Abercrombie doing it on the ground. Anderson's been a busy man today. 17-0 Steelers. Still 11 plus minutes remaining first half. Buford McGee has trouble with it at the 6. McGee barely gets to the 14. So this is a black and gold first half, 100%. It is all Pittsburgh. Oh, what's going on elsewhere? Well, there was a flag on that play. We'll sort it out in a moment. Let's go to New York.
All right, Lenny, the Redskins are opening up the score early against Buffalo. John Riggins, a 3-yard run. It moves Riggins into 3rd on the all-time touchdown list. He also leads the NFC with 12 touchdowns, and it's 17-0 Redskins over the Bills.
Free kick, 5 yards deeper.
Thank you, Bill. Jim Tunney telling us offside in the kick. They'll do it again. Same score. You just showed us 17-0 Washington. That's the score here. 17-0 Pittsburgh over San Diego.
San Diego, for some reason or another, in all parts of the game, their kicking game, on offense, on defense, they just don't seem to be getting on track. Now, maybe it's because Pittsburgh's taking the play from them, but you just have the idea that they're a little flat.
There is the time difference. Don Coryell moves everything up 3 hours. They had practice and meetings at 7 a.m. trying to get on Eastern time from Wednesday on. They're still on California time right now, it seems.
You know, it's so interesting how just a few little things can make a difference. It's the passes that Fouts missed early, just by a yard or two. You never know what difference that would have made. But this team, the Chargers, have been in this situation a number of times, and they've come back. So we've certainly got a lot of good football ahead of us.
They trailed Miami by 14 last week. Came back and beat them in overtime. So cleanly handled by Lionel James at the 10. James busts to the outside and gets up to the 30. So the penalty helps San Diego here. Instead of starting at the 14, they'll take over at the 30. Chris Brown supplying the coverage on special teams. The San Diego offense will try to get on track here. Take another look at Lionel James.
Maybe Lionel has gotten something started for the Chargers. He does a good job of running here. He gets some good blocking. You know, being a small player really isn't that much of a disadvantage when you're running back kicks, punts, that sort of thing. Because in this situation, it's all quickness, and he has a lot of it.
All right, let's start looking for Charlie Joyner. Hasn't caught one yet. Looking for the record. First down at the 30. Ernest Jackson. And Jackson this time picks up 5 yards after being stopped in the first quarter. So San Diego does it on the ground on first down. Ernest Jackson needs about 45 yards to reach 1,000. First AFC rusher to do that this year. If you took a poll before the season began and said who would be the first 1,000-yard rusher in the AFC, guarantee you nobody would have said Ernest Jackson, particularly when they had Chuck Muncie, who's had the drug problems. They brought in Pete Johnson, and he's gone, and Jackson just kept climbing up the depth chart.
A quiet man who's done it in a quiet way.
2nd and 5 at the 35. That's Joyner in motion. Wes Chandler hit hard but holds on. Chris Brown was covering on the play. Chandler held on to it. First down for San Diego on the 10-yard pickup.
And he really gets nailed here just as the ball arrives. Good job, as you mentioned, Lenny, of holding on to it by Wes Chandler right in between the zones. And he gets some shot from Chris Brown, the rookie. Brown goes about 195, so he's a big cornerback.
First down San Diego at their 48. 10 minutes remaining, second quarter. They trail 17-0. Looking for Joyner. Charlie, oh, he had it and dropped it. It was in his hands, and how often do you see that as he puts his hands to his head? Oh, Charlie. Long walk back.
Yeah, that's a... Dan Fouts gets leveled just as he releases the football, and Charlie outlegs Chris Brown to the center. Look at it, right in his hands. Sort of bounces right off his face mask. You won't see that happen very often. In 16 years, I'll bet you can count on one hand the number of times that Charlie Joyner has missed a pass like that.
I'll tell you, after beating Miami in overtime, boy, they struggled during the first 20 minutes this afternoon. The Chargers have 2nd and 10 at the 48. Here comes Chandler in motion. Jackson. Nothing. They strung it out well. Maybe gets a yard on the play. So Fouts will now face 3rd and long.
It's pretty tough to run wide against the Steeler defense, particularly with the speed they have at linebacker. There you see 57 Merriweather. I mentioned he runs a 4.5 40. Robin Cole runs a 4.6. He's number 56 on the inside. David Little, he's no slow man either. And Brian Hinkle on the far side, he runs a 4.6. They make it awfully tough on running backs around here.
And Jack Lambert once again checks into the lineup on the passing situation. 3rd and 9 at the 49. For Duckworth, he's got it. First down on an important 3rd down completion. San Diego didn't want to punt again. Bobby Duckworth down to the 39 against Dwayne Woodruff, the left cornerback.
Bobby Duckworth has some speed. Look at that average per catch, 26.2 per catch. He can really motor. Dan Fouts, though, being really sharp, finding out quickly where the man-to-man coverage was, and he came up with that first down to Duckworth.
No score in the Meadowlands. Kansas City playing the Giants. Philadelphia's got a field goal to close to it in 7-3. First down at the 39. Tampa Bay shutting out the Rams. For Chandler, and Fouts finally found the man. It looked long enough. He finally found him with the protection he had. Donnie Shell covering on the play. Another 18-yard pickup. And now the San Diego offense is moving. But on their first drive, here is where the Pittsburgh defense stiffened.
Well, Dan Fouts is going to get you if you play zone defense. The Steelers only rush 3 men. They put the rest of the people back there trying to cover. And as you mentioned, when you give him that much time, one of those wide receivers is going to break free, and that time it was Wes Chandler.
Well, let's keep our eye on Charlie Joyner on the far side. Wes Chandler the near side. First down at the 22. The crowd calls for defense. Looking for Joyner, and Joyner broke left. The pass went right, and nobody near it except a couple of photographers. As Coryell now looks into a 2nd and 10.
I think Dan was happy just to throw that one away. I think you might have thought that Charlie's going in this direction, but what you can't see on this side is another defensive back over here. He turns around.
Made a U-turn, and the pass went behind him. So now Joyner and Chandler head out. Washington with that 17-0 lead. Cincinnati big over Atlanta. Cleveland the lead over Houston. 2nd and 10 at the 22. Far side complete to the tight end Eric Sievers, and he's got it. Short of a first down. Brian Hinkle, the linebacker, trying to stay with Sievers. And even without Kellen Winslow, they got those tight ends, Gene.
They have them back. This is amazing how Fouts is able to get this ball in. I thought he was throwing the ball away. Robin Cole applying the pressure. Hinkle is in good shape. Look at that.
Pretty catch.
That's a beautiful catch. The tight ends look like wide receivers and gets both feet in bounds.
Had the 12 catches last week, a personal high. He said that's virtually an entire season of catches at Maryland. 12 in one game against Miami. 3rd and 2 at the 14.
Steelers come with a blitz.
Out to James. First down, I think, at the 11. Let's see. Yes, they mark it as a first down. So James does it barely with Donnie Shell tracking him down from a strong safety position.
Dan Fouts, in my opinion, is the toughest quarterback in football to blitz. Wait a minute. I think the officials are saying he didn't make the first down. That's why Fouts is obviously disappointed. They're saying they were about 6 inches short.
At first, the official pointed first down, Gene, when he came over to the near sideline.
Now they've come back and said it's 4th down. They're saying it's 4th down. They didn't make it.
Well, needless to say, they are going for it. They do not want 3, trailing 17-0. They bring in a couple of tight ends, 3 of them, in fact. Egloff, Sievers.
Official is going to take a timeout for the Steelers.
Perhaps because they had Darrell Goforth lined up as an eligible on the near side, who's a guard. Maybe Pittsburgh wanted to take a look at that and start all over. We'll be right back.
Glenn, I think you were right. The reason Pittsburgh probably took that timeout is they saw Darrell Goforth, who usually plays guard, lined up on the right side. It wasn't the tight end there. There he is again. So he's eligible. As long as he reports to the official, he is an eligible receiver.
4th and inches. Jackson. Well, I said they had it last time when they didn't. They definitely have it this time. They'll be first down just outside the 10.
Number 69, obviously put in this position to block. He is normally a guard. Has his job done fairly easily for him because the Pittsburgh man just submarines. All he has to do is maintain that wrestling hold position. And he did it. The Chargers have a first down.
At the 11, this drive started at their 30 following the kickoff. It's Holohan coming out. Ernest Jackson. They've got Jackson's number today. Swarmed under. Merriweather's there. Robin Cole. Woodruff.
Lenny, I just saw something that could become a bigger factor in the second half of this game. Pete Holohan was trying to come back to make a block on the linebacker, and he slipped down. He fell down, missed the block. I think it's getting cool in that part of the field. Maybe
you can see it's darker, Gene. That's where Frost was on the field this morning, and they took it off with a vacuum cleaner. Perhaps it's a little wet down at this end of the field. 2nd and 10 at the 11. Joyner, no. So Charlie Joyner getting shut out on what he hoped would be a record-setting day. Look who's there. Jack Lambert, the 9-time Pro Bowler.
These passes have worked for the Steelers. They have not worked for the Chargers. You see Charlie Joiner going in there getting a bump from Donnie Shell. Doesn't come up with it.
Lambert picked it up on a bounce. See him going. He says, my career's not over. I'll wait till next year to decide if my toe has healed or not sufficiently. 3rd and 10 at the 11.
You need a crossing pattern if you're going to throw the ball. That field shrinks too much.
For Joiner again, well covered. 4th down for San Diego, and they'll try to kick a field goal. Lambert there in the middle. And the roar goes up to the old man in the defense. How many ovations has this man had in his stirring 11-year career? And one more time for Jack Lambert.
You know, Jack Lambert is such a physical linebacker that people tend to think that his biggest strength is just in stopping the run, but he's a terrific defender against the pass. He's been slowed a little bit, of course, with that toe injury, but still has that nice quickness and, of course, a good size.
Rolf Benirschke's missed a couple the last couple of games. Not this time. A 29-yard field goal for Rolf Benirschke, and with 6 minutes and 31 seconds remaining in the first half, the Chargers are finally on the board. Updated, Pittsburgh 17, San Diego 3. And back in Pittsburgh, we had thought perhaps we'd see history from Charlie Joiner, but the Pittsburgh defense has a lot to say about Joiner and the rest of the Chargers today.
You know, one of the things that really impresses me about this defense is that they have scouted the Chargers so well. They seem to be in the right places at the right times. Very rarely will you see teams break up that many passes by Dan Fouts.
Very few open today. Joiner did drop one. This is Rich Ehrenberg at the 6. And Ehrenberg is dragged down at the 20. Good tackle by Buford McGee, who's a force on special teams for San Diego. So 6:23 left first half. And it's 17-3 Pittsburgh. That last drive, it was a good one. 14 plays. 59-yard drive. Took nearly 5 minutes. The announcement from the officials that the 30-second clock is now operative again. This telecast presented by authority of the NFL, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Steelers and the National Football League is prohibited. First down at the 20. And this is Abercrombie. And he rips off another 5 yards as Pittsburgh getting some running room again.
Abercrombie.
But I think that the Charger defense has to do something and pretty soon to try to stop this onslaught of the Pittsburgh Steelers running backs. Now, they can do one of two things. They can bring the linebackers up closer to the line of scrimmage before the play starts, or they can start blitzing the linebackers, trying to plug up some of those holes. But they have to stop the running game here. They got to force Malone to throw the football.
Stopped short of a first down. Good tackle on the far side by Billy Ray Smith. And this will set up 3rd down. And a flag is down on the far side. So let's see what this is. There it is. Face mask against San Diego. That'll be a first down for Pittsburgh.
May have been incident. I think it was 78 Chuck Ian. Let's see. There it is. Yeah.
Grab the hold. There it is. Good shot of it there.
5 yards, so they've determined that it was an incidental penalty, not intentional.
Tony, an official for 25 years. Motivational speaker, quarter of a century of National Football League service. First down, close to the 35 for Mark Malone and his teammates. Throw on first down coming in. There it is. Stallworth complete. Got both feet down, say the officials. Another Steeler first down with John Turner covering.
When you're running the football well, then you can go to play action. You fake the ball to one of your running backs. It holds the linebackers because they have to respect the run. Then the quarterback can drop back. Now he has a wide open lane to his wide receivers. You see how the linebackers are held in there tight? Now, there's nobody in between him and the receiver out there. The only person who can really break it up is the cornerback. Those cornerbacks need the help from linebackers coming underneath on those short passes.
First down out close to the 48. Pollard still fights forward for 2 or 3 on the play. Bill Elko, the nose tackle, and on the stop. And the clock continues to run. 5 minutes and 20 seconds remaining first half. It's been a first half completely dominated by the Steelers.
And the Steelers have just taken field position. Now they're in a great spot. Even if they don't go in for a score here, if they punt the ball, they go in and back the Chargers way up. And they turn their defense loose against the Chargers. Field position is so important in the game.
Now at the San Diego 48, second and a long 6. Abercrombie to the outside. Another first down at the 40, and Abercrombie perhaps will have his best day of the year in the first half alone. Elko again on the tackle. Last week, Abercrombie with 63 yards. He's getting close to that figure here in the first half today. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WFMJ, Youngstown.
Back in Pittsburgh, Len Berman along with Gene Washington. The Steelers marching again. 4 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. 55 yards in the first half for Abercrombie. And Pittsburgh close to the San Diego 40 on first down. And another first down completion to Pollard, and Pollard wrestled down at the 36. And Pittsburgh is just eating up that San Diego defense, Gene.
You know, for a team who's had so many problems with their offensive line, the Steelers have had 5 different sets of offensive guards. They are doing a terrific job this afternoon. They're running the ball well, and they're giving Malone a lot of time to throw the football.
Malone has gone over 100 yard passing here in the first half. 2nd and 5 at the 35 for the Steelers. Now inside of 3.5 minutes remaining first half. Ehrenberg. And Ehrenberg fights very close to a first down. So an arsenal of weapons being employed by the Steelers. But now, let's go to New York for an update.
All right, Lenny, a bit of a surprise at Giant Stadium in what has been a defensive battle, but Bill Kinney broke the scoreless tie here, hitting Stephon Page, a 26-yard strike. Nice catch by Page. But the Giants scored just moments ago. Rob Carpenter took it in from the 1. It is 7-7. They're locked up.
Thank you, Bill. Big story in New York, of course. Giant fans, long-suffering fans, thinking playoffs perhaps in that log jam in the NFC East. And a dogfight today with Kansas City. It was a first down for Ehrenberg. 1st and 10 at the 30. The Steeler march goes on. It's a different player on every play, Jim. Malone unpressured again, looking for Stallworth. Another touchdown.
The Chargers aren't getting any pressure whatsoever on Malone. Just too much time to throw the football, and John Stallworth, his experience makes this play. There you see Turner, who's back in the end zone, but Stallworth saw the ball coming a little short, was able to pull up, comes up with the 6 points, touchdown, and the Steelers are on the move.
His 9th touchdown of the year, a 30-yarder, Malone to Stallworth, and Anderson now makes it 24-3 Pittsburgh. So the Steelers with 3 second-quarter touchdowns. 19-yard touchdown pass to Lips, 1-yard run by Pollard, and a 30-yarder to Stallworth. The Steelers are on top. When Stallworth broke his leg last year, there was some talk that maybe his long, glorious career was in the final moments. But this year he's turned it all around. Having another big day, 8 touchdowns. John Stallworth has given them a 24-3 lead.
You know, speaking of records, Charlie Jr. is the only one chasing a record. Stallworth just needs about 100 yards plus a few to break Buddy Dial's record here of 1,295 yards in the season. James at the 5.
Another good return from the little guy. This time he's stacked up at the 27 by Todd Seabaugh, the linebacker on special teams. The San Diego, which drove most of the field, only to come up with a field goal. Fouts has 2 minutes and 11 seconds here remaining in the second quarter to try to get some points back. They're trailing by 21. And they'll start at the 28. Two turnovers. The Merriweather fumble recovery, the Merriweather interception. Both resulted in touchdowns on ensuing drives. James, good blocking in front of him. James, a first down at the 40. And the clock will be stopped for the 2-minute warning. So 2 minutes remaining first half action. San Diego has the ball, its own 40. They're trailing Pittsburgh right now 24-3. 83-year-old Art Rooney smoking the cigar, obstructed by the post. He came into our broadcast booth before the game and asked, was he bothering us? Could he say hello? Would it be okay? Here we have a Hall of Famer asking us permission to say hello. Just a beautiful man. All those in Pittsburgh know the story. Here's San Diego now. First down, close to their 40. Look out, Merriweather. It's a Mike Merriweather first half for the Steelers. His 13 and a half sacks now for Merriweather. All-time Steeler linebacking sack leader. And they've had linebackers in their career. And Fouts awfully slow getting up. And he's limping off. Clock is stopped. I don't know how the crowd could cheer that, but Dan Fouts hobbles off to the far side.
You know, Lynn, I talked to Ed White, the offensive tackle for the Chargers, before the game, and I asked him about Merriweather, and he says Merriweather has moves like a defensive lineman. He's not only quick, but he's very physical. There you see number 57 on the outside, coming up with a sack against Dan Fouts. That's 13 and a half. Team record is 14 by Keith Willis, so I think he's certainly going to get that record before the season's over. And they attend to Dan Fouts on the far sideline. We can't tell from here whether it's knee that's a problem or his ankle, but went off on his own power, so I don't think it's a very serious injury.
All right, Ed Luther takes over at quarterback. NFL 84 coming up with Bob Ahmad, Bill and Axe, all the scores and highlights. A lot of highlights from this game. A lot of them will show Mike Merriweather. A sack, fumble recovery, interception. Luther, who's thrown 11 passes all year, keeps it simple on the draw play. They may just run out the clock and get into the locker room as quick as possible and try to tend to Dan Fouts.
The Steelers are going to call timeout.
Well, it's a good call. They utilize the second of their 3 timeouts. We still have a full 1 minute and 47 seconds remaining in the first half. And with 3rd down and 20 facing the Chargers, Pittsburgh feels they can get the ball back one more time and try to pad the lead even more.
Well, there's Dave Levy, the offensive coordinator, on the sideline with Ed Luther talking about what they're going to do. Here's the schedule for the Chargers. Boy, look at that.
They're in the midst of 5 consecutive games against first-place clubs. They thought Pittsburgh might be the breather in there today. And it's on to Chicago next Monday night. That game will be played in San Diego. And Fouts, you can see him wincing on the far side. Of course, without Fouts, San Diego had to play without Fouts here at 3 Rivers a year ago, and it was a fairly easy Pittsburgh victory. I mean, the statistics show when Fouts is in there, as opposed to when he's not in there, it's a whole different ball club offensively, needless to say.
Ed Luther has only thrown for 94 yards this season. No touchdowns, no interceptions. A lot of playing time though last year.
You're looking at Fouts' knee and leg, left knee. 3rd and 20 for Luther. And that one's nearly picked off. Shell was over there. So was Chris Brown. And with 1:42 remaining and Dan Fouts being tended to, San Diego will punt it away. And perhaps the nod of affirmation from Fouts means maybe he is okay. We'll try to find out shortly. Corey Buford is on to punt for the first time for San Diego. The fewest punts in the league the last couple of years. San Diego doesn't have to punt much normally, the way they move the ball. There's Lips. Good high kick. Buford drives Lips Gissinger down to make the tackle. Maybe because of the length of that return, maybe there's a cliff or illegal use of hands. Let's wait and see. 60-yard punt from Buford. It is hands against Pittsburgh.
You know, Lenny, Lewis Lipps has done so much for this Pittsburgh team, running back punts, and also having a terrific year as a receiver. But I would venture to say this is the last season we will see him running back punts.
The guy becomes so valuable. He just can't afford to risk injury. Let's listen to Jim.
Illegal block, number 33, during the run back, half the distance of the goal line. First down.
Harvey Clayton, the man called for the hands penalty. And it pushes them back to the 7-yard line with 1:28 remaining first half. There's Clayton.
Now, Louis Lipps is closing in on Lynn Swan's team record. Swan had 577 yards returning punts. Louis Lipps came into this game leading the NFL with 529. So it's almost a certainty that he'll break Swan's record there.
He has a shot at the all-time NFL record returning punts here in his rookie season. And straight ahead goes Abercrombie. And not doing anything fancy. 80 seconds remaining. I thought maybe they'd pull out a few stops here, maybe stop the clock again, but you know, that's why they called that second timeout earlier, but they're certainly playing it awfully cozy here with 1:10 remaining. Maybe because they are so far back, pushed towards their goal line, they don't want to risk that interception.
When things are going so right for you, don't give the opposition a chance to get up, so to speak. Don't turn the ball over down here and let San Diego go in on a positive note. They want to go in at halftime with everything going for the Steelers, and it certainly appears that's what's going to happen.
45 seconds left in the half. Malone 2 touchdown passes, 1 to Lipps, 1 to Stallworth. Pollard had a short burst for a touchdown, and forgotten all that was Gary Anderson's team record 55-yard field goal midway through the first half. Clock is stopped now with 37 seconds remaining in the half.
Number 2.
Timeout charged against San Diego. 3rd and short. Did you say legal timeout?
I think he just said timeout taken by the Chargers. Chargers are hoping to hold here and get one more chance before the half ends.
The official word now on Dan Fouts. The injury is to his left hip and groin area. High up on the leg, and we do not know if he will return for the second half. And that will be the key to this second half. If this man can come back. Our score 24-3 Pittsburgh over San Diego. 37 seconds remaining in the first half. Pittsburgh hoping to have first place today with a 7-6 record. Here's some of the other people who squeaked by and won divisions with records that were far from startling. The bottom line, I would say, Gene, on all that is none of those teams won Super Bowls.
Well, if the Steelers line up in their short yardage formation, they may go with the same thing they scored on earlier, where Corley lines up in the flank and comes in motion and blocks down inside. Let's see if they do the same thing.
3rd and short at the 16. Abercrombie. And thrown for a loss on the far side by Mike Green. Woody Lowe come back. It was whistled down. 31 seconds remaining in the half. And Pittsburgh will punt it away. We'll see Craig Colquitt. We haven't seen him punt yet, have we? San Diego takes its last timeout.
Number 58 running up through the middle, Mike Green. He stops him, no gain. Loss, actually. So the Chargers are going to, they'll get one more shot. They might be able to get something going. They certainly need a positive note to go in and halftime with. They have 3 people back.
Maybe they can get 3 on the board. We did see Colquitt punt earlier. Remember, he kicked out of bounds on the 7. Now he'll kick it straight away to James. Next Sunday, here's our lineup. Denver continuing to struggle. They'll play Seattle later today. Steelers go on to Houston, Indianapolis, and Buffalo. Gene and I will see Cincinnati and Cleveland. Cincinnati's still alive. AFC Central. Look at that one. Raiders and Dolphins. Looking forward to that one for several weeks. We'll see it second half of the doubleheader next week. But right here, 30 seconds remain. San Diego got 3 on the board. It bounces to James. Here he goes. Only Colquitt to beat. Lionel James. Touchdown Chargers. First touchdown of Lionel James's career. The 5th round draft choice out of Auburn scores on a 57-yard punt return, and San Diego says, "Take that, Steelers."
Well, I said before, being short 5'6" doesn't have much to do with running the football and punts and kickoffs. This is a textbook situation. The Chargers, they calculated their timeouts. They knew that they had one shot to score, to go in with something at halftime. And Lionel James comes up with an explosive, beautiful return on the punt for 6 points.
That's exciting. Bernershka. His kick is good. That narrows it to 24-10. So San Diego, look at him go. Little 5 feet 6 inches tall. His first score in the pros, and you can bet he's happy over this one.
Almost got tripped up,
Yep.
but got in for the 6 points.
You're wondering the last time San Diego returned a punt for a touchdown. Well, it was in the classic overtime game with Miami in the Orange Bowl. Wes Chandler did it. We still have 15 seconds left, and San Diego gets the 7 points on Lionel James's 57-yard punt return. So we've had some exciting plays here today in Pittsburgh. Still have 15 seconds remaining in the first half. It's 24-10 Steelers.
So the old momentum, you know, it really does mean an awful lot when you're trailing, as like San Diego was trailing, and then you get a score like that. You go into the locker room at halftime, and it really does give you a lift.
The key here, though, to this game, can Dan Fouts come back for the second half?
Exactly right. Dan Fouts, though, is as tough as they come any position on the field, and if he could play at all, he'll certainly be in there.
This is Anthony Corley at the 17 for the Steelers. Corley gets across the 30, and the clock stops with 10 seconds remaining in the half. What a first half it's been. A record field goal by Gary Anderson. Lewis Lips and Stallworth touchdown passes. Mike Merriweather with a sack, fumble recovery, and interception. Little Lionel James with a 57-yard punt return, and Dan Fouts hit hard on a Merriweather sack. Wondering if he'll come back in the second half. We've got a full game of football, and we still have a half to go. There's Fouts.
Dan appears to be in pain of some, but of course it's taken more than just pain to keep him out of a football game.
He is standing up. He has a groin injury. It's not a knee or an ankle. Pittsburgh will fall on him. A couple of scattered boos, but I think Pittsburgh says, I've seen enough of this first half. Let's go into the locker room and end it right here. Fouts walks off gingerly. And we shall see if he can return. We'll have the word for you after we hear from Bob and company at NFL 84. But following the 57-yard punt return from Lionel James, San Diego at least in this game within 2 touchdowns. And Dan Fouts will be the last player to enter the locker room area. Pittsburgh leading it 24-10. One more look, Gene.
There he is. He's the man that gives the Chargers a big boost. What a play this was. Well timed.
Let's go to NFL 84 in New York now.
And here at halftime, Bob Costas along with Bill McAtee, a chance to run down the scores of games in progress for you. Kansas City has just scored at the Meadowlands late in the second quarter. We're awaiting the extra point, and they have upped their lead on the Giants to 16-7. Here we see Phil Simms, the Giant quarterback, calling Sports Phone to check on scores of other games. Meanwhile, Kansas City with an odd choice, the shotgun on 3rd and goal from the 1, the pass incomplete, and a bad snap messed up the field goal attempt. However, Bill Kenny was able to come back with his 20 26-yard scoring strike to Stephon Page, and it made it 7-0 Kansas City in the second quarter. The Giants tied it at 7. This pass from Phil Simms to Joe Morris brought the ball to the 1-yard line. Rob Carpenter scored from there. Then Nick Lowry hit a field goal of 41 yards. Albert Lewis followed with an interception of a Simms pass, brought it back to the 8. Willie Scott then caught a touchdown pass from Kenny. The extra point is good. Kansas City leads the Giants 17-7 as they approach halftime. They have reached halftime in St. Louis. The Cardinals trying to snap a 3-game losing streak and leading Philadelphia 7-6 on a 24-yard touchdown pass from Neil Lomax to Stump Mitchell. In that game, Ron Jaworski, the Eagle quarterback, broke a leg. He is out for the season. Pittsburgh, in the game some of you are watching, leading San Diego 24-10. What a turnaround from a week ago for the Chargers. Dan Fouts on the sidelines. He wound up there permanently as he was banged up and replaced by Ed Luther midway through the half. This was one of Fouts' few highlights, a pass connection to Pete Holohan. But it was a hot Lips Holohan on the next play. Lewis Lips catching this touchdown pass from Mark Malone, a 15-yarder. At that point, it put the Steelers up by a score of 10-0. Malone had another touchdown pass later in the half, a 30-yarder to John Stallworth. This was one of the highlights for the Chargers, however. The rookie out of Auburn, 5'6" Lionel Little Train James, with a touchdown return on a punt, better than 50 yards on the run. And it brought San Diego back to 24-10. They had trailed at 24-3 prior to that play, down by a couple of touchdowns at the half. And meanwhile, at Tampa Bay, they have just reached halftime. The Buccaneers lead the Rams 16-10, a matchup of Dickerson and Wilder, and each of those great running backs has scored once. Bill?
Hot Lips Holohan. You've been waiting all year for that, I suppose.
I don't know if it was worth the wait. But
At RFK Stadium, the Redskins in Buffalo. The Redskins have won 20 of their last 23 games at RFK Stadium. 139th straight sellout. There, of course, is an attractive couple, but they've been treated to an offensive show. Joe Theismann's thrown a couple of touchdown passes. Here was the first to Art Monk. The play covers 11 yards and gave Washington a 7-0 lead. John Riggins, a short time later, made it 17-0, scoring from the 3. That put Riggins alone, third place on the all-time touchdown list. Move now to the second quarter, and the Redskins get more. Theismann, 18 yards to Charlie Brown, who's back after an injury. It is 24-7. The Redskins lead this ball game at last report late in the second quarter. At Riverfront Stadium, Atlanta and Cincinnati, the Bengals, even at 4-8, still with playoff hopes, but today without the injured Kenny Anderson. Turk Schonert started today for Sam Wyche and quickly threw a 57-yard touchdown pass to Chris Collinsworth. Schonert completed his first 10 passes, and the Bengals lead it 21-0. Houston and Cleveland, the Oilers have won 2 straight, but the Browns have won 2 of 3 and are 2-2 under Marty Schottenheimer. And there you see the score. It is 20-7 in Cleveland. The Browns lead it.
Things developing well for the Redskins so far. They're out in front of Buffalo, and the Giants, meanwhile, are losing to Kansas City. Tight race in the NFC East. NFL 84 halftime activities will continue in just a moment. Stay with us.
Back in Pittsburgh at halftime, the Steelers lead the Chargers 24-10. Len Berman along with Gene Washington. Charlie Joyner has been shut out. He needs 4 catches to tie Charlie Taylor's all-time NFL reception record. Joyner, no catches in the first half. He's a quiet sort of fellow, doesn't talk much about records. He did come over to the stadium early today in a cab with equipment manager Sid Brooks. And I asked Sid before the game what he and Charlie talked about on the way over. The record at all?
No, Charlie didn't say anything about the record. It's like always when we travel. He never talks about the record or him playing football. We talk about different things we eat or playing golf or bowling, things like that in general.
But not about football. How come he didn't get open today, Gene?
Well, the Steeler defense did a good job. Of course, on this one, he just simply dropped the pass. You know, they've all been sort of off sync the whole game long. Either drop passes, Dan Fouts not getting the ball there, the little things going wrong. It wasn't until, you know, Jay and Lionel ran that punt back that they really get something going.
We'll come back, find out if Dan Fouts will return after this station break.
Hip and groin area. Haven't seen him come back out here in the second half.
Word is, Gene, he is showering. He will not return for the second half. Defying groin injuries is too much, and Luther will quarterback the second half. But first, it's Lionel James, the man who returned the punt for a touchdown. Doesn't do the same for a kickoff. After all, they haven't had a kickoff return for a touchdown in San Diego in over 2 decades. So, 24-10. San Diego trailing. Will go with Ed Luther at quarterback and not Dan Faust. Look at the numbers to the upper left. The Chargers with just 8 first downs, just 5 yards rushing, despite the presence of Ernest Jackson, the 950-yard rusher in the lineup.
I think the main reason for that, of course, is the defense of the Steelers, primarily their linebackers, led by Mike Merriweather, Robin Cole on the inside, and Hinkle. They have not been kind to any running backs all season long.
San Diego had the ball just 11 minutes. That's Anthony Corley being tended to on the far side. So when we return, it'll be San Diego ball and Ed Luther, but the Steelers on top on the scoreboard, 24-10. Well, you know, Gene, last year, similar situation. Fouts hurt. Luther came on and led the team to a win over the Giants. See if lightning can strike again. He's got the lightning rod on his helmet. Ed Luther, they start just across the 20. That's Pete Holohan in motion. First pass is overthrown. Looking for Holohan. Not a good way to start.
Hi, Holohan almost came down with that ball. You say that he has the best hands on the team, but he really had to climb to try to get that one. One thing that Ed Luther does have is a strong arm. He's got a very, very strong arm. So we may see the Chargers try to air it out a bit, try to get something deep. Here's a comparison.
Charlie Joyner shut out in the first half. Needs 4 catches to tie Charlie Taylor's all-time record. Maybe he's saving it for the home folks a week from tomorrow night against Chicago. Flag is down. Reception is ruled complete to Wes Chandler, despite protestations from the Pittsburgh defense. We'll see what the penalty is. There'll be procedure against San Diego, which will wipe out that first down. David Little motioning to take the penalty, obviously. So this will push him back.
You see Dave Levy with the headsets on the far side, signaling in the plays to Ed Luther.
Coryell, you know, they say he has tunnel vision, that he really didn't know the San Diego Padres are even in the playoffs. I can't believe that story. That's Don Coryell. Tense guy. His owner, Alex Spano, says yes, Coryell is the coach now and the future. 2nd and 16. Holohan's got this one. And across the 30 to the 33, but about 3 yards shy of a first down. Holohan points a finger at the defense. Dwayne Woodruff covering.
Well, Brian Hinkle, number 53, the linebacker, was trying to hold him up. On the right side of your screen, he gets the jam, but he loses him. You see, number 88, that's Holohan. He runs away from Hinkle. Comes up with the reception, and I think he and Donnie Shell had a few words there. Of course, he wouldn't be the first person that Donnie Shell has had a few words with. Tough, strong safety.
3rd and a long 4.
They come with the blitz. Could be interference, could be pass interference.
And that late flag is finally thrown after you said it twice. The flag did not come at first on the pass intended for Joyner. Mike Merriweather covering.
Well, I think one official was waiting for the other one, because I thought it was clearly interference early. Charlie Joyner trying to go for the football, and Merriweather just hit him.
Defense. First down.
Let's watch number 57, Merriweather. Right there. Charlie Joyner trying to come in for the quick slant. They saw the blitz was on. The receivers know whenever there's a blitz, a double blitz like that, they're called to break off their pattern to the inside. There.
Hey,
there's the flag. There it comes.
So now they get the first down at the 36. Prevented Charlie Joyner from inching closer to Taylor. Holohan comes in motion.
Blitz again.
To Chandler.
6 points.
Look out. Shell will not get him. Wes Chandler breaks it for a touchdown from Ed Luther, and the Chargers are now within 7 if they make the extra point. Wow. 64 yards. Lightning does indeed strike for Luther and the Chargers.
The Steelers blitzing, and oftentimes this is a good strategy when you have a quarterback who's just come in a little rusty. Maybe look at Chandler stretch it out. They come with the blitz. Chargers had the right play call. Wes Chandler on the post. Donnie Shell can't get there. When you get in this position, it's 6 points. Nobody's going to catch Wes Chandler. Too much speed.
Officially for Chandler, 63 yards, arguably the most exciting wide receiver in the game. It took him just 1:12 seconds to put a touchdown on the board, but Nershka adds the extra point. And in the opening minute and change of the second half, thanks to Wes Chandler's long touchdown reception from Ed Luther, suddenly the Chargers are within 7. We'll be right back. Talk about white lightning. Just 17 ago on the clock time, it was 24-3 Pittsburgh. Suddenly Lionel James with a long punt return. Wes Chandler from Luther, a long touchdown play. Rich Ehrenberg at the 4. Steelers are suddenly leading by just 7. And Ehrenberg pulls ahead across the 25. And we'll see what Mark Malone can do to counter as the Pittsburgh offense takes over. Buford McGee, another special teams tackle.
I think the most significant thing, Lee, is what will the Chargers defense do? The first half, they couldn't stop the run. The offensive line of the Steelers just blew them out. Now let's see what they do here in the second half. Will they change up their strategy? Will they start to blitz a little more, not just to get to the quarterback, but to try to plug up the holes, the running holes?
Pollard and Abercrombie in the backfield behind Malone. Abercrombie had that strong first half. This is Pollard, and he breaks free again. So the Pittsburgh running game moves forward for another 9 yards. Kenny Green teams with Tim Fox for the Charger tackle. This play gets out across 35. This will be second and less than 1.
Well, the Chargers are looking for the run. You can see how the linebackers came up tight, but the Steeler offensive line is doing an excellent job of blocking, particularly on the left side, starting with the center Mike Webster, the guard Wolfley, and Ray Snell, the left tackle. They've done an excellent job all game long of run blocking.
Second and 1. Ball at the 36. Misdirection. Pollard straight ahead. Should get it.
Lendon King sliding down, getting in on the tackle. Number 57.
The soap opera star. And it is a first down. Those are today's stats. Malone, a scintillating 85%. Ed Luther, the one completion was a big one. 63 yards. This is a first down for Pittsburgh at their 37. Pollard again. So they're keeping it simple, and they're doing it. Another 9-yard burst for Pollard. 2 in a row for him. Green and Woody Lowe finally catch up with him. So the strategy, 9 yards Pollard, 1 yard Pollard, another 9 yard.
You see where they keep running to their left side, to the offensive left side.
Look at that hole. That's
there's
beautiful.
the block, trap block from Wingle. They have decided that the Charger right defensive side is where they're going to run the football. They did it in the first half, and they might as well continue to do it unless the Chargers stop them. Forced him to make a change.
Second and 1, so he throws on this down. Pittsburgh really mixing it up, looking for Lips. He caught it, complete. What a play, Lewis Lips again. Wow, as the crowd yells Lou, a 40-yarder to Lips all the way down to the 13. How he caught it and how he stayed in bounds, maybe only the replay will tell us.
He watched some old Lynn Swan films. That's what he did. I don't understand what Gil Byrd was thinking about, though. He didn't go for the football. This is all Lewis Lips. Look at this. Byrd is in good position, turns around.
Look at this.
Now I see why he didn't go for the football. He thought it was going to be out of bounds. He said, there's no way he can catch this ball. It's going to be out of bounds.
First and 10 to the 13. Pollard inside the 10 down to the 6, and the Steelers come charging back. Tim Fox. Talk about classic cases of the run setting up the pass. That's what they're doing on this drive.
And again, they run to their offensive left, to the right side of the Charger defense. Keith Ferguson, the nose tackle for the Chargers, are not having much success against the run. That offensive line of the Steelers is opening hole after hole on the left side.
7 more yards for Pollard. Second and 3 at the 6. Maybe some motion. Abercrombie moves straight ahead. And again, you know, they do it all without completing a single pass to the tight end. Chargers know it's either a rush or a throw to a wide receiver. They cancel out that tight end pass when they think about their defensive game plan. It doesn't matter. Pittsburgh's doing it anyways. They get to the 5, and it'll be 3rd and a long 2.
Pittsburgh loves to run those trap plays.
So the big guy, Weegee Thompson, just came in at 6'6". Not a bad play to throw a little blooper to him over on the left. Look at San Diego with the fire drill, bringing in all those defensive backs. Look out for Weegee Thompson on the far side on 3rd and 2. He'll be working against Miles McPherson. Nope, straight ahead. And Pittsburgh is signaling 1st down. And Jim Tunney agrees. King and Lee Williams stopping the play. And Pittsburgh now will be inside the 5. Pollard's gone for 67 yards. Abercrombie for another 60. What a Baylor tandem they make. And they're going to take a moment here to measure the exact placement. That was wild. See that last scramble, all those Chargers rushing on the field? What are they thinking about to take so long to get out there? Signaled this was a 1st down. The Chargers must have asked to measure it anyway. Officially, they'll mark it just outside the 2. We have 10 minutes, 29 seconds remaining, 3rd quarter. The Chargers, well, they're the ones who scored first on the terrific pass from Luther to Chandler, but now Pittsburgh saying, take that. The 40-yarder to Lewis Lips that helped set this up. And they're all the way down to the 2.5.
Well, they've been running to their left side. Of course, it hasn't been against this goal line situation, but let's see if they continue to do that. Behind their guard, Greg Wolfley.
Pollard in the middle. Boy, he can keep going if he wants. 6 more. Pollard.
Watch up the middle. No one there.
My goodness. He can run to West Virginia if he wants. So 2 touchdowns for Pollard. 2nd time he's done that in his career, which has spanned 5 years. And Anderson, who's been perfect this season on extra points, will try to reinstate that 14-point advantage. Which he does. So a full 10 minutes remaining in what has been an explosive start to the 2nd half. The 40-yarder to Lewis Lips sets up the wide open hole for Frank Pollard's 2nd touchdown. It's 31-17 Steelers.
Watch number 38, Elton Veals, on this trap block against number 78, Chuck Ian. Watch what happens. That's why you had such a big hole in there. That's some block from a running back.
Running back against a big guy. Chuck Ian goes 260. And Veals, 230. Pretty good size blocking running back. Quick drive in the last 5 minutes of clock time. We've had 3 touchdowns in this game. Here's Buford McGee. We'll watch it roll through for a touchback. So Ed Luther and the San Diego Chargers are starting from their 20. If you're just joining us late in the 1st half, Dan Fouts was hit hard on a sack by Mike Merriweather, went out with a severe thigh and groin injury on the left side, and now Ed Luther playing the 2nd half in the opening moments. With 1:12 gone, he hit Wes Chandler on a 63-yarder. But Pittsburgh's come right back and has said, take that, and they lead it by 14 again, 31-17.
The Pittsburgh defense, when Luther first came in, they started blitzing him a lot. He came up with a touchdown pass to Chandler. Let's see how they play now. Maybe they'll back up and play a little more zone coverage. Won't be as risky.
That's Chandler in motion. Out to Ernest Jackson, the running back. Jackson has room. Gets across the 25, and a late flag is thrown down. Hold against the Chargers. So that will nullify that gainer. But the last time that happened on the last drive, Luther countered with the touchdown pass. Here's the spot we'll mark it from, says Jim Tunney. Forward march, guys.
holding after the pass was caught during the run, number 63. 10 yards in the spot of the foul, so first down.
Once again, Doug Wilkerson, number 63, the left guard.
So this will push them back to the 13. This will be first 17. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Jackson. Boy, has he been stopped all day or what? Came into the game needing just 50 to reach 1,000. And in the first half, the Charger backs as a group had a total of 5 yards rushing. They just cannot rush against the Steelers' curtain this afternoon. Got out to maybe the 17.
I would imagine what the Steelers want to do now is they want to force Ed Luther to work his way down the field. They don't want to give up another big pass like they gave up to Chandler. So I would imagine they'll drop back into their zone coverages and try to make Luther throw the ball underneath the zone.
This is a 2nd and 13. Good call, Gene. Exactly what he did to Holohan, who tries to stretch the ball out towards the 27, but will still be a couple of yards short, forcing a 3rd down. Mike Merriweather covering along with Jack Lambert passing down. So this will be 3rd and 3.
Again, the important thing to remember when you think about the Pittsburgh defense is the speed that they have in their linebacking positions. Jack Lambert, number 58, Merriweather, Little, Cole, Hinkle, probably the fastest group of linebackers in the NFL.
Jackson just 16 yards rushing, so that gives him 966 for the season. 3rd and 3. 3 wide receivers in there for the San Diego Chargers. Joyner's first catch of the day for the first down. Well, every catch virtually that Joyner catches is a first down. You know, he had a stretch right after the strike ended. 17 consecutive catches, all for first downs. And Charlie Joyner now needs 3 catches to tie Charlie Taylor's all-time record.
But when you've been around for 16 seasons, as Charlie Joyner has, I don't think you worry about catching balls because you know that you're going to get your chance. Here it's just a simple little hook pattern. Comes back to the quarterback. And they pick up a very important first down.
646 career catches and counting for Charlie Joyner. First down at the 35. There's motion. The Pittsburgh defense is acting as if the offense jumped and just tapped the shoulder pads to make sure, but let's see.
Encroachment, 67, defense.
Goes the other way. Gary Dunn is arguing that the other guy moved first.
You know, sometimes those nose tackles get a little trigger happy down there. They say, well, the guy moved his hand, he batted his eye.
Well, let's pause briefly for stage identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WFMJ, Youngstown.
Bat his eye. 1st and 5 from the 40, and Jackson stopped for maybe a yard gain. We're at Three River Stadium, 7:30 remaining 3rd quarter. Len Berman with Gene Washington. The Steelers lead the Chargers without Dan Fouts now, 31-17. Sellout crowd, of course, for the 101st consecutive time at Three Rivers.
Again, Ed Luther doesn't have quite the timing and quickness and the ability to read the coverage that Dan Fouts has, but he has a strong arm.
There's a 2nd and 3 after the earlier penalty. Sievers for the first down into Pittsburgh territory at the 47 before Donnie Shell knocked him down. So Holohan caught a pass on this drive. Joyner, now the other tight end, Sievers, and the San Diego drive is underway here.
What a game Sievers had against Miami. 12 receptions, 119 yards. Game-tying touchdown with 51 seconds to go. I think you pointed out before, Lenny, this team can come at you so many different ways on offense. Just seems to be an unending supply of people that can hurt you.
Look at 3 guys in the backfield. First down at the 47. They're back there to block. Throwing out for Duckworth. And another drop. That was right there. Beautifully timed pass. Duckworth made the move, turned around. The pass was there, and he dropped it.
He had the 3 backs in the backfield for maximum protection. Duckworth has tremendous speed. Gets down. Everything going right.
Perfect.
Ed Luther throws this ball out here, hits him right in the hands, and drops it. Oh, it's plays like that that just can kill a drive. It happened for the Chargers when they first started out when Fouts missed a few. Killed the drives. The Steelers got good field position. They cashed in.
Second and 10 from the 47. Brian Hinkle is left with an ankle injury, the linebacker from Pittsburgh. He's been replaced in there. Here they come. First down. They connect another one to Wes Chandler with Chris Brown covering, and Luther looking awfully strong on the 12-yard pickup.
Again, I hate to be redundant, but the fact is that Luther has such a strong arm that he can throw deeper pass routes than Dan Fouts can by holding the ball a little longer and reading, because he has that arm strength. Dan has the ability to read the defense so quickly that he gets a little jump by releasing the ball before the receiver is actually making his cut.
Here are the three running backs again in the backfield. First and 10. It's McGee, Morris, and Jackson. This time they get to Jackson, the third man through it again. If Jackson picks up a couple, that's it. He cannot bust free for daylight this afternoon. Jackson stacked up at about the 32 by David Little and John Goodman. This will be 2nd and 7, Gene.
No, even though he doesn't pick up a lot of yardage running the football, as long as he can get a couple of yards or so, what happens is that it starts to open up the play action passing. Now Luther can fake the ball into the running back and come back and throw the ball. So as long as they get some positive yardage, it helps to set up the play action passes.
2nd and 7, 5 defensive backs, and Jack Lambert in there for Pittsburgh defensively. Holohan in motion. Looking for Chandler. Oh, and Chandler drops it. The third receiver of the Chargers to drop a pass on the third different occasion. Dwayne Woodruff covering, but Joyner in the first half. And now here twice in the second half, Duckworth and Chandler drop passes.
Lenny, I'm certainly not making any excuses for the wide receivers, but I can tell you that probably why they're dropping these passes is that Luther's ball comes much harder than Dan Fouts' passes. And when you're accustomed to working with one quarterback in practice, and you get out there sometimes a little difference, it makes a little difference. Again, not making an excuse, you should have caught it, but there is a difference in the way these quarterbacks throw.
Big play, 3rd and 7. Into traffic, it was tipped by Merriweather, intended for Joyner, and it falls incomplete. Sets up 4th down, and Rolf Benerska will come on to try a long one. Rolf has struggled a bit. He missed the field goal at the end of the Denver game. First time in his career that he missed in a game-winning situation. Missed another 46-yarder a week ago against Miami. And now he will try from dead away a 50-yard attempt for Benerska.
He's made one from 50 plus though this season, so it's within his range.
This will be short.
Little short.
Yes, sir. And Benerska now on a string of 0 for 3 over 3 games. And so the Steelers hold, and with 4:38 remaining in the third quarter, they get the ball back. Pittsburgh leading San Diego 31-17. We'll be right back, everybody. And now with Pittsburgh leading by 14, getting the ball back, the pressure squarely on the San Diego defense. What else is new?
Well, they certainly can't allow Pittsburgh to move down the field, running the ball and eating up the clock. I would expect those the other linebackers putting the pressure on.
Good view of Malone going straight up the middle for Stallworth, and a flag goes down. There was contact, pass interference called. Lucius Smith was on the coverage of Stallworth.
Wasn't much that Lucius Smith could do on that one. I think they're going to call interference against him.
Last interference, defense, number 33. First down.
Lucius Smith at 5'10". He was standing there or running alongside John Stallworth at 6'2", and he was just trying to get some position. Look at this. He knew that Stallworth had the advantage, being 4 inches taller than he is, and he was trying to get some position to try to knock the ball away, and came up with an interference call.
47-yard penalty. Pollard breaks free down to the 13. Another gain of 9. That's his magic number here in the second half, those 9-yard bursts.
And again, they're wearing out the right side of the Charger defense, left side of that offensive line for the Steelers. They're continuing to run over the left side of the guard using those trap plays that they've used for years.
Look at Pollard's numbers as he inches up towards a 100-yard day. 6. Pittsburgh relentless on offense today. Gil Byrd finally brought him down, and Byrd remains down. Grabbing his left thigh, Gil gets up.
The Steelers certainly have things going their way. They're connecting on the passes. They're getting the interference call. Here are the guards pulling out. Leading the way, number 62, Tooch Ilkin. Abercrombie on the carry.
And Gil Byrd was down, got up, was clutching at that hamstring, and he's had a hard luck season. He ran an interception back 99 yards earlier against Kansas City and collapsed in the end zone. He was diagnosed with a racing heart. Some injury problems, and he's down now. As they tend to him, Kansas City, as the Giants now get a little bit closer. Chiefs lead it by 3 in the Meadowlands. St. Louis has led from the beginning. Lead Philadelphia 14-6. Neil Lomax has just hit Pat Tilley with a 19-yarder. That game's early third quarter. And the Rams coming back against Tampa Bay. That's third quarter, 19-17. Well, if there is a bit of good news for Gil Byrd, is that his baby finally came home from the hospital yesterday. Jeannie, his wife gave birth to Gil Jr., who weighed just about 2 pounds. He's in the hospital for some time and finally back up to 5 pounds. And we'd like to wish Gil Jr. and the Byrd family well. His dad is being helped off right now.
Well, let's watch the replay, see if we can see what happened. It didn't appear to be as serious early. The top of your screen on the right-hand corner, number 22, there's Gil Byrd. Let's see if we can see.
Ooh,
oh,
that's a
there.
split.
And you know, we talked earlier about the fact that it was damp down in that area of the field.
That's right.
Clearly, that's what happened on that play. He slipped, got caught in that situation, and just did the splits and
that hurt just
grabbed his hamstring up high. So
Gil Byrd is still down. So we have a moment here in Pittsburgh. We're going to take a commercial timeout. Pittsburgh with the lead, and they're driving. This is a nice thing to do on a warm day, late November in Pittsburgh. Temperature in the 50s. Hot air balloon over Three River Stadium. Have a view of the action. Right now, it's not a very pretty sight, as they've brought out a stretcher to help Gil Byrd leave the football field.
I think this appears to be more serious than it is. As we saw in the replay, I think it's a situation where he stretched his hamstring muscle and up high, so they just want to take all precautions here, but I don't think it's anything as serious as a knee injury or a broken bone or anything like that.
A round of applause as Byrd is wheeled off. Of course, Dan Fouts, who was injured earlier, and you think of that San Diego secondary with Byrd hurt, the other youngster Danny Walters undergoing some drug problems. Tim Fox told me yesterday that his knee isn't completely healed, and the cartilage is a little bit more ripped, and he may need some surgery even before the season is over. So the injuries are starting to mount for the San Diego Chargers. And here, with 3:37 remaining, third quarter, Pittsburgh has a 1st and goal just outside the Charger 5.
The Chargers have not been able to do the job this afternoon in the middle of their line at the nose tackle and on the right side over where Keith Ferguson has been playing. The Steelers have just taken advantage of that left side.
And Stallworth, another one. Had it before he dropped it. Touchdown against John Turner. Stallworth's 2nd touchdown of the day. And now the Steelers lead it 37-17.
Makes it look easy sometimes, doesn't he? You know, and it's particularly tough on the defense when you have a Lewis Lips on the other side. Malone just drops back. He has a one-on-one in there, and the defensive back, John Turner, makes the mistake of letting Stallworth get to the inside. You can't do that down by the goal line.
So Anderson completes it. Malone and Stallworth. Talk about Malone's 3rd touchdown pass of the day. That's 12 on the year now, a quarter of them this afternoon, as the Steelers have now opened it up over San Diego to 38-17. And Pittsburgh is saying, well, we know we played some sloppy offensive ball the last 2 weeks. Wow, did they turn it around thus far this afternoon with 3 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the third quarter. like to let you know that next Sunday here on NBC Sports, it's doubleheader Sunday in the National Football League. Those are the early games. The Steelers will be in the Astrodome to take on the revitalized Warren Moon and Company. Gene and I will be in Cleveland, where we'll see Cincinnati and the Browns. Cincinnati this afternoon was beating Atlanta earlier. And if the score holds, the Bengals will still trail by 2 games. And after this week, there are just 3 to play. And then the big doubleheader game. The Raiders go into the Orange Bowl to take on the Dolphins. Miami losing to these Chargers last Sunday. They play the Jets tomorrow night. And next week, they will contend with the Raiders. What Don Coryell has to contend with is a 21-point deficit and some injured players. James at the goal line. And James gets across the 20. Last drive, just 3 plays, 68 yards. Only took a minute and change. The big play, of course, was the penalty. Pass interference called against Lucius Smith. He fouled John Stallworth, a 47-yard penalty. So what'd you do here, Coach? Down 21 with 3 minutes remaining, third quarter.
Well, surprisingly enough, I might call a screen or a draw on my first play, because those defensive linemen are going to have their ears pinned back coming on the pass rush.
5 defensive backs in for Pittsburgh. Clayton is up the line of scrimmage, but he stays right there. Luther completes it far side to Sievers, the tight end, for a quick first down. Mike Merriweather covering along with Donnie Shell. So Luther immediately connects, and he's looked pretty good here.
He's throwing the ball very well, but I don't think that Pittsburgh's going to give him a chance to get anything deep. If he gets anything deep, it's going to be a situation where it'll be like a jump ball or maybe an interference against a defense. With the lead the Steelers have, what they want to do is make him throw everything in front of them.
And another Charger is down. This one is Sam Clappin. Fourth-year player out of Oklahoma, whom they call the Chief because he is half Indian. Now they tend to him. That's exactly what the Chargers do not need. They were not able to start the starting center, Don Masek, with a hamstring injury. Perhaps he injured it jumping up and down when his alma mater, Boston College, won the other day on the Doug Flutie pass. But Masek was not able to start. Gissinger came at the line. And now the left tackle, Sam Clappin, is down. Had some line problems.
Appears as though he was kicked. You know, like he might just have a bruise on his leg. I think we'll probably see him back in action.
Chuck Lavin, fourth-year player from San Diego State, is in right now. Yeah, Clappin does not appear too seriously hurt. So this is first down from the 35. Saw Anthony Corley of Pittsburgh just walked off to the locker room. So we're dropping quickly here at Roy River Stadium. 2.5 minutes remaining, third quarter.
Well, this is a good place for Joyner. Probably see zone coverage.
Straight ahead. That's the first running room Jackson's had today, out to the 43.
Good call by Luther. Everyone, including me, was expecting a pass. And quick opener up the middle. Take a look at the linebackers. Number 50, David Little. I think he was a little surprised that Jackson got that ball so early coming up the middle. Donnie Shell coming in, trying to knock things loose.
Jackson needs another 27 yards for 1,000. 2nd and 2 at the 43. Holohan in motion. Intercepted. Robin Cole at the 40. The third turnover today by the Pittsburgh defense. Second interception. And Robin Cole with his first pickoff of the year.
Well, he wanted to get the ball to Joyner. He had the zone coverage just as I anticipated, but Robin Cole, the man who had played outside last year, the linebacking spot, number 56, comes up with the interception. You see Charlie Joyner trying to work his way in.
Wow, big crowd.
Forced the ball in there. Robin Cole coming up with the interception. Vicksburg has the ball on the 41.
And Malone has completed 9 in a row. Robin Cole with his interception. Pittsburgh with their highest point production of the year, 38 points. Pollard tripped up in the backfield by Lyndon King. Clock continues to run with 90 seconds remaining third quarter. And Pittsburgh leading San Diego 38-17.
Well, I don't think there's any question that Pittsburgh's going to keep the ball on the ground, continue to take advantage of the right side of the Chargers defensive line. They have just not done a job there. They've had Chuck Ian playing at nose tackle position.
Now they're coming with basically 4 linemen and 5 defensive backs as Abercrombie goes outside. A flag is down as Abercrombie went for a first down. But this one may be coming back on a hold. And that's what the call is.
He had a host of blockers around that left side.
Sure did.
Student body left.
This is the tandem that Pittsburgh was hoping they'd have with Pollard and Abercrombie. They've been a terrific 1-2 duo this afternoon. Here's Jim Tunney again.
Holding during the run, number 81. 10 yards. Down remains the same.
Darrell Nelson, tight end.
We do mention a tight end every so often for Pittsburgh.
Number 81 on the right-hand side of your screen. He's a guilty party. Caught holding Billy Ray Smith.
That was a bear hug nearly. 2nd and 14 from the 45. Malone looking.
He's open.
Wide open. And another one to Stallworth. Easy pickings. 45 yards. Stallworth, his 3rd touchdown catch of the day.
Mark Malone gets lots of protection. John Stallworth was so wide open. Someone clearly blew the coverage. He's too wide open. Look for yourself and you decide whether this is blown coverage.
It's got to be. 5 yards behind John Turner. 2 touchdowns for Stallworth in 2.5 minutes. Anderson adds another one. The Pittsburgh Steelers have romped to a 44-17 lead. Make it 45 with the extra point. 4 touchdown passes for Mark Malone. The first time he's done that. 3 touchdown catches for John Stallworth. Take another look at it. Malone on the 45-yard bomb, and that's the magic number, 45. It's 45-17 Pittsburgh.
John Turner was beat so badly. I thought it was a blown coverage, but I think what happened is that he was looking for Stallworth to go downfield about 18 yards and come back to the outside, trying to pick up a first down. And Stallworth just kept going, and Turner was just caught completely by surprise. Stallworth coming up with his 3rd touchdown of the day.
There's Stallworth. The other thing about Mark Malone and what was going through his mind when Terry Bradshaw packed it in, Steelers did not have the confidence to go with Malone alone. They bring in David Woodley. Injuries to Woodley, and that puts Malone in the spotlight. And the feeling is, obviously before today, and maybe even more so after today, that even when Woodley is back to health, maybe Malone is the #1 quarterback. After today, 15 for 17. Look at this, 223 yards. Make that 4 touchdown passes, 3 to Stallworth, 1 to Lips, and no interceptions.
I think that's the 2nd time this season he has thrown for 4 touchdowns in one game. First time?
Yeah, first time in his career, Gene. James and Buford says, hold up, little man. And they'll try to get things going from the 20. We have 35 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter, and you talk about turnovers. Each of the 3 turnovers, the 2 interceptions, and the fumble recovery, have all led directly to Pittsburgh touchdowns. The offense just had to keep the ball to help that defense. We're not able to do it today. It's 45-17 Steelers, and we're still in the 3rd quarter. Steelers, after today, will have a 2-game lead, perhaps, with 3 games to play should Cincinnati win their game today. Neither of them has a particularly tough schedule, but Pittsburgh has the Raiders the last game of the year. Going deep, wide open. Duckworth, will he drop it? Duckworth at the 30. Eric Williams covering, and Luther airs it out to Bobby Duckworth. And after a couple of drops on the last series by Charger receivers, not this time, a 50-yard bomb, and back we come.
There you see that strong arm of Ed Luther. And again, a receiver so wide open you would expect that there's blown coverage. Just don't know how the receiver could get that far open in this situation, but he does.
I think the players are just enjoying watching the action. 45-17, that's the end of the third quarter. And we will be right back to Three River Stadium after these words from your local station. Fourth quarter begins with San Diego trailing 45-17. Charlie Joyner trailing Charlie Taylor by 3 catches for the all-time record. First down at the 30 after the 50-yard bomb to Duckworth. Duckworth fights for a 7-yard gain against Woodruff. And around the league today, another action in our early games. Kansas City continues to lead the Giants in the fourth quarter. That could be a damaging blow for the Giants' playoff hopes. Well, St. Louis has led throughout. Low-scoring affair at Busch Stadium this afternoon. Tampa Bay still hanging on over the Rams, fourth quarter. This is 2nd and 3. Joyner, first down, yes sir. 647 catches, 2 shy of Taylor's record, and 2 catches today, both for first downs for Charlie Joyner.
Charlie made a good catch on that play. He's the man that has the option, comes in motion, goes downfield, and it's up to him to read the coverage and get open. Comes in motion. When he goes upfield, he has the option of the direction he wants to go. Linebacker Greg Bingham out there, number 54, all over him, but Joyner comes up with the reception.
That's the story. Will we have history here in the fourth quarter, or will it wait another week? First down now at the 18. Joyner, tipped, intercepted. Beautiful play. Eric Williams, the 3rd interception of the day for the Steelers, the 4th turnover as they look for Charlie Joyner. One time too many. Pretty play by the defensive backs of Pittsburgh.
You know, when things are going right for you, they seem to go right in bunches. That's what's happening for the Steelers. Up in the air, interception by Williams.
Boxing next week on Sports World.
Charlie Joyner, number 18. The ball's going to be tipped away by 23. That's Chris Brown, the rookie, playing for Sam Washington. And number 21, Eric Williams, comes up with the interception. That's a 3rd one today. The Steelers to add with 1 fumble recovery, 4-0.
Mark Malone, you jokingly say a guy is having a career day. Well, he has 4 touchdown passes today. You know what his career total was for 4 previous years before this season? 4 for his career. He's got 4 today. This is a career day for Malone. And there goes Abercrombie for a neat little 4-yard jaunt. Miles McPherson covering. Pittsburgh defense turning in a brilliant effort. San Diego has the 17 points, but 1 was a bomb, 1 touchdown. The other one was a punt return. The defense had a sparkling day. And their offense, turnover free. Second, call it 5 from the 25. Abercrombie again. Well, that's a nice tackle in the backfield by Woody Lowe.
That was a great play by Woody Lowe. Came in and took on the guard who was leading the way. Took on the block and then made the tackle. Good effort by Woody Lowe.
This will set up 3rd down back at the 21. Cincinnati has to win to stay within 2 games. The 2 teams have 3 games to play. Cincinnati doing it elsewhere in the Central. Cleveland over Houston, 20-10. So Houston's honeymoon may be ending today. 3rd and 9 at the 21. Another completion. That's 11 in a row for Malone. Lips wrestled to the ground by Lucius Smith. Smith had a message after he was called on the pass interference earlier on a John Stallworth. A critical pass interference call as it turned out. But Lucius Smith gives up a reception, drags his man down. First down, out to the 32.
Well, you're seeing an exhibition by two strong-armed quarterbacks, Mark Malone and Ed Luther. When they throw the ball, they get some velocity on it. You throw a ball out to the flat area like that, I mean, that is on a rope. And that's the way the receiver likes to see that type of pass thrown.
Malone. Not this time. At 11 straight completions up to this point. Stallworth covered on this side by Bill Kay, along with Woody Lowe.
Second down.
And double coverage for Stallworth. What a day he's had with his 3 touchdown catches.
Even though he's double covered, as we watch the linebackers in their drops, Charger linebackers, even though Stallworth gets double coverage, he thinks he's going to come down with the ball. Look, he's saying, I'm getting my feet ready. No, not quite. Not quite.
Malone and his receivers had a day. Stallworth 6 catches for 109 yards. Lips 7 catches for 118 more. And Abercrombie, the running backs have had a day. Abercrombie wrestled down after he rushes for a first down. What a performance today, offensively, defensively, all around for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Abercrombie finally brought down by Miles McPherson and Fred Big Dog Robinson.
Well, I mentioned it earlier, when a player starts to play well,
and the cheers for Abercrombie
bigger and bigger and bigger, and the fans are showing their appreciation for Abercrombie, but they've been expecting this kind of performance from him for 3 years. This is his 3rd year. They thought it was going to happen much sooner. Better now than not at all, though, and he's finally beginning to come into his own as a runner.
Fumble. They had been turnover free to this point. And at the 43, they remain that way. Everything's going their way. Pollard recovers it. You know, Abercrombie, with his 82 yards rushing, that's his best of the year. And his best was just turned in last week with 63 yards. So coming back from the knee problems, Walter Abercrombie is turning it on. Here's the fumble.
It appeared as though it was a bad handoff. Frank Pollard, the intended runner, looked back. I think he would recover the football. But I don't think he had a good hold on it at all. I think it was just a miscue between he and Mark Malone.
2nd and 11 from the 43.
Lots of time to throw.
Ooh, right into the left hand of Bill Kay. Kay nearly had an interception. Stallworth had daylight there. Malone just misread it. And Kay nearly had himself a gift interception.
Bill Kay was surprised because I think he thought that John Stallworth was going to move inside and catch the ball, and that's the same thing that Mark Malone thought.
Right.
But Stallworth stayed outside, didn't move in. Watch how this ball surprises Bill Kay. He says, wait a minute, I thought Stallworth was going to come in there.
So now 3rd and 11. We have 10 minutes, 37 seconds remaining, 4th quarter. It's 45-17 Steelers. Quick hitter over the middle of Stallworth. Hit hard by Kay and dropped at midfield, short of a first down. So now Colquitt will come on for his 3rd punt of the afternoon. Stallworth has yet another catch, but short of the first down yardage. Chuck Noll, boy, 2 tough losses. Mike Webster, the all-pro center, said we had the killer instinct. We were killing ourselves. Self-destructing offense. Not today. For those who thought a weak division and a weak team in first place, what a performance today. The Chargers may lose their first outside the AFC West. They were 6-0 before today. Lionel James, he's returned 1 for a touchdown today. Heads to the outside, not this time. Darrell Nelson on the far side with Rick Woods. 7-yard return after just a 39-yard punt. So Ed Luther and the Chargers will come on. 9 minutes and 47 seconds remaining, but a big mountain to climb. The Steelers lead it 45-17. This really tells a story. Ernest Jackson, 950 yards before today, held to just 23. And this is the point where play-by-play announcer butters up analyst. First thing Gene Washington said today was Pittsburgh was going to run the ball despite San Diego's worst pass defense in the league. Pollard and Abercrombie may each have 100 before this day is over. Way to go, Gene. Luther flings it out to little James, and he scampers out to the 29.
Now, this is a good place, Lynn, for Lionel James to come in and play. He's relatively fresh. You know, they need to try to spring some sort of big play, and one way to do that is with screens or with draws. he's certainly accustomed to running the ball in traffic. So if they can get the football to Lionel James out there, he might be able to break one all the way. Because certainly they need to get some quick scores.
2nd and 3 for San Diego at the 29. Complete to Holohan. First down at the 35 before he's swarmed under. Merriweather, the man on the bottom. Jack Lambert's in there, as is Harvey Clayton. Here's Holohan. He's had a good day receiving for San Diego. One of the few bright spots in the San Diego attack today.
Chargers going without a huddle. Lambert, of course, playing with that badly sprained or dislocated big toe.
Holohan, 6 catches today. James is the outlet man again. And another little scamper for 6 or 7 yards. Lambert was over there, so was Donnie Shell. So the clock is stopped with 9 minutes remaining, and the Steelers well in control, 45-17. Dan Fouts out with a thigh and groin bruise. Gil Bird out, hamstring. And Lambert, one of those 4 remaining from the 4 Super Bowls, and really the only regulars in there are the 3 of them, Shell, Webster, and Stallworth, now that Lambert's string of 9 straight Pro Bowls will be broken this year.
Comes the pressure.
On 2nd down for Joyner, who backed up but couldn't hang on. So Charlie Joyner remains 2 catches short of Charlie Taylor's all-time record. And this will set up 3rd and 2 at the 44.
Charlie was almost able to come back and get this when he's being guarded by 33 Harvey Clayton. The ball is behind him. He's trying to come back. Has his hands on it. Just drops away. This hasn't been Charlie's day today. He's had a few bounce off of his hands.
This hasn't been San Diego's day. Another lineman is limping. This one's Doug Wilkerson. Sam Clapham was hurt before. As we mentioned, Don Masek couldn't start. The toll continues to be taken on San Diego's offensive line. Wilkerson played in his 200th game last week. 15-year veteran, as you see, from North Carolina Central. Been to 3 Pro Bowls.
What a great guard he has been throughout his career. Tremendous speed. Always think about, when I think about Doug Wilkerson, you think about 63 pulling out and leading the way for Chuck Muncie going around in. Great career he's had.
So Dennis McKnight is in the lineup now. On the line, Darrell Goforth as well. 3rd and 4. Another interception. Number 4. Chris Brown may break it. Luther is there, and Luther shoves him out of bounds. The 4th interception, the 5th turnover, and Pittsburgh is staring at 50 points with 8:45 remaining. Chris Brown, the rookie, turning in his first professional interception for the 6th round draft choice from Notre Dame.
Obviously a miscue from the quarterback and receiver. You can see that this one isn't very close at all. 2 receivers in the same place. Another interception for Pittsburgh.
Don Coryell this week had his team work on Eastern time all this week on the West Coast. Maybe he's contemplating going to Hawaiian time next week.
When you have those turnovers, 4 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery, there's no way you can win a football game like that. But I think you really have to give credit to this Pittsburgh team. They're really fired up in all areas. The offensive line and running backs, the defense has been fantastic. You know, to use a cliche, well, I won't even say it. Yes, I will. They've come to play.
Abercrombie, one of the guys who have come to play. I get the feeling the Steelers are saying enough jokes about the Central divisions in both the AFC and the NFC. Most people are saying outside of the Chicago Bears, whom the Chargers will host next week, that there's not much quality in either division. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are saying, listen, we know the Chargers beat Miami last week. We know the Chargers are 6-0 outside the AFC West, and we're going to prove a point today, and they're certainly doing it as Abercrombie's just gone for 89 yards. 2nd and 6 now at the 17. Pollard, he gets some more.
Again, the Pittsburgh offensive line moving the line of scrimmage.
That was Elton Veals. Let me correct myself on that one, Gene. Elton Veals carrying for the first time today, 11th round choice out of Tulane.
Third down.
Again, you can see the surge of that offensive line for the Steelers. They've had most of their success running left, to their left side against the right side of the Charger defensive line. And they evidently saw something in the films because they went in that direction early, and they've had an awful lot of success.
And now a timeout is taken. Steelers take a timeout. Oh, we still have 7:28 remaining in the ball game, and the Steelers still lead San Diego 45-17. Well, back in Pittsburgh, 45-17. Art Rooney, he rarely in all those years, is now the 52nd year with the team as he's seen these many points scored. This is one of the highest totals ever should they go in here. Third down and short. They got it. And there's a completion to a tight end to Darrell Nelson. First tight end completion of the game down to the 1.
Well, do you think that's why they call timeout? They say maybe we'll throw it to a tight end. Let's talk about it.
And another Charger down. My goodness. And a Steeler down as well. It's Mike Green for San Diego and Darrell Nelson as they piled up to the 1.
First and goal, Pittsburgh ball, San Diego 1-yard line.
They wheeled the offensive lineman for San Diego off the field moments ago. Doug Wilkerson. Bill Bird was wheeled off earlier. Dan Fouts did not return in the second half. Anthony Corley limped off the field. Now 2 more players are down. It's been a bruising day in Pittsburgh.
Let's watch again. Number 58, Mike Green, who
collided with his own player, I believe, in Lucius Smith.
Well, he's sort of bent his back after he hit Darrell Nelson. Both players. Well, it appears as though they're both okay. Mike Green getting up, shaking up a bit. He appears to be okay. I guess they're both all right.
Now, we came into today, Gene, looking for perhaps a Charlie Joyner record. It has not happened. He is too shy of Taylor's record, but we're finding records in other areas. Should Pittsburgh score and score the extra point here, it'll be the most points ever scored against the San Diego Chargers in a game. 52 points, breaking the record of the Raiders back in '67. And should the Steelers get those 7 points here, the most points ever scored under Chuck Noll. At 51 points in 1980 against Cleveland. So the records came in other areas than perhaps we anticipated, although we did think it would be a high-scoring game. First and goal. Elton Beals repelled. Beals was saying to himself, here's my first professional touchdown. It was not to be.
It's not what number 90, Fred Robinson, big dog.
A couple of rookies there.
Said not this time.
So second and goal. Clock continues to run with 6.5 minutes remaining in this big Steeler day in Pittsburgh. Now Scoop Gillespie's in the game.
Could almost quarterback sneak it from here, but he's going to run it out.
Oh, good ball. He'll roll it out. Instead, Malone with his 5th touchdown of the day. 4 throwing and 1 running. Wow. 5 touchdowns in a game for Mark Malone. 52-17. There are the records. Most points the Chargers have ever given up in a game in their history. Most points the Steelers have scored under Chuck Noll. The Steeler team record, by the way, they scored 63 points against the New York Giants way back when. But they're coming up on 52 here under Chuck Noll this afternoon.
You can't blame the Chargers for stacking up the middle, because that's where everyone expected the Steelers to run. And Malone knew he had 6 points. As soon as he got about out to the tackle position, it was clear sailing from that point on.
Wow. 6 minutes and 17 seconds left. Anderson makes it good again. Mark Malone, 4 touchdowns passing and 1 rolling out to make it 52-17 Steelers. ride home for Coach Coryell and company. Been a tough day. They were coming off a natural high with the handing of the Dolphins their first loss of the year in overtime last Sunday. Chargers thought they had things going their way. They ran into a charged-up Steeler team, which has been absolutely flawless. No turnovers. Offense has been brilliant. Malone has been brilliant. The defense has been brilliant with 5 turnovers. And the injuries to Fouts, Bird, and Wilkerson. And a long, long day. And next Sunday will be another day. Pittsburgh will go down to Houston among the early games. Denver, Kansas City, the feature early game on NBC Sports. And then the late game will be the Raiders and Dolphins. So here we go again. Buford McGee. McGee is stacked up at the 26. And Ed Luther will give it one more try. Craig Bingham, the linebacker out of Syracuse, on the tackle.
It's hard to imagine the Steelers playing any better than they've played today.
Perfect football game, Gene, really.
All areas.
I'll fault the special teams. They gave up a punt return to Buford McGee. You see?
So what about the field goal, the 55-yard field goal?
And that Colquitt punt, the early going, which gave San Diego bad field position. Nearly a flawless game. Give them a 99.5 score today. Just a perfect football game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. First down at the 26 for Luther. Hand off to Buford McGee. And the rookie from Mississippi gets up across the 30. And Cincinnati has defeated Atlanta, so the margin will be 2 games. The Steeler is down now. Lamar, Scott Campbell perhaps will replace Mark Malone as he did last week. Cleveland over Houston. That's a final as well. Game's ending early. But the 2-game advantage will be intact for Pittsburgh over Cincinnati with 3 to play. As Mark Catano, the backup rookie defensive lineman, is being tended to. So some of the backups getting some action here for the Steelers with the 52-17 lead. And Catano's another man gone. I think there are going to be a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers watching their cassette recorders tonight at home. So we'll say hi to them on tape now, because they didn't get a chance to watch it live. They're going to be watching long into the night on this Pittsburgh victory.
There is some combination there. Lips and Stallworth. Oh, how'd you like to be defensive backs facing those two?
No, the departure of Lynn Swann. How do you follow up acts like that? Well, you can't say Louis Lips will be a Lynn Swann, but
well, he's certainly on his way.
Yeah, it's hard to think of a rookie year better than the year that Lips has had. Now Catano comes off under his own power. In fact, he jogs off to the near side. Stallworth, give him a vote for comeback player of the year with his 3 touchdowns today, 11 for the season. A couple of backup linebackers now in Pittsburgh. Bob Coors, Todd Seabaugh. Outlet to Buford McGee, who gets the first down, out of bounds at the 40. Shoved out there by Seabaugh. 5 minutes and 37 seconds remaining now. And it's 52-17. The Pittsburgh Steelers, their highest output under Chuck Noll.
Well, this is a situation where you can put in some players on defense for the Steelers who ordinarily might not get a chance to play a whole lot, get them some additional experience. The Steelers have done just that. Number 22, Rick Woods, is now in the game at safety.
For Joyner, inbounds. Charlie Joyner now 1 catch shy of the all-time record. He's got 648. Will he tie it or break it with 528? I know he will eventually.
I think he's going to do it today.
Well, it will be something for San Diego to cheer about if he does. And another first down. 3 catches today. Well, maybe not a first, just shy. There's Charlie. 1 catch short of tying the record, 2nd in inches. Buford McGee. First down for San Diego and out of bounds at the 43. So there's 5:23 remaining. And San Diego gets another first down. They're in Pittsburgh territory at the 43. We're waiting to find out 2 things today. What will the final score be? And what will Charlie Joyner's final pass catching totals be when this day ends?
Well, I think Joyner is certainly going to get one more, at least one more in this drive. He's in his favorite position. He's in the slot. This is usually where he has an option when they throw the ball.
Does this pass tie an all-time NFL record? No, it goes to Chandler, and it's knocked down smartly by Chris Brown.
Called interference. They called interference, and I think he made a good play. He timed it just right. He tried to go around Chandler to knock it away. And if he brushed Chandler, it was just by a little bit. Look, he goes around with his left hand. Oh!
Boy, yeah, you can see him holding out his right hand. He wasn't touching his back with his right hand. So the rookie who turned in an interception a few minutes ago here called for interference, and the ball is moved down to the Pittsburgh 25 with 5:18 remaining.
That was a good job of coverage by Chris Brown, but those things have a way of equaling themselves out over the course of the season. Joyner
ties the record on a touchdown. Charlie Joyner's 649th career catch, the exact total that Charlie Taylor had in his glorious career with Washington, and fitting enough, the record-tying catch is a touchdown.
Well, I told you he was going to get it on this drive. I didn't think it was going to be a touchdown, but never underestimate number 18, Charlie Joyner. Gets behind Chris Brown, and number 22, Rick Woods, doesn't get there. He's the man responsible for having a deep coverage. Look at the catch.
Oh, that's pretty.
Pulls it in with one hand.
A one-handed grab.
Well, I think that makes up for the earlier drops, Charlie. Job well done.
Congratulations, Charlie Joyner. I guess what he's not happy about is the score of the game. He's happy about the touchdown. For Charlie, his 6th of the year. Some congratulations, but the quiet kind of guy Charlie Joyner is. We heard from Sid Brooks, the equipment manager, earlier. Charlie doesn't. There's Sid right there. Charlie does not dwell on records. Sid Brooks took the ball.
He'll keep that one.
That perhaps will either stay here. Maybe the record breaker will go to the Hall of Fame. Look at Charlie. Fake right, fake left, fake right against them, and off and gone.
But look how he turns around here. Turns around and catches the football with one hand. Great body control. Beautiful reception. Oh, 5. I don't know. I think Charlie might get a couple more. I think we're going to see that record right here, folks.
It would be nice to see. You know, Charlie Joyner, I like his comments. We've mentioned he doesn't talk about records, doesn't dwell on the past very much. But one quote he had, the thing he's proudest of in his NFL career, not the games, not the career touchdowns, the fact he's never made an enemy. And that says a lot for Charlie Joyner.
Well, his teammates think an awful lot of him. Last year he was voted the MVP.
And he was also voted most inspirational player on the team. At his age, 37, at 63 career touchdowns. Not bad for a squib kick. The onside-er. San Diego. Well, let's see. I thought for a moment they had it back.
I think the Chargers have it.
Successful onside kick by the Chargers. And with 5 minutes and 5 seconds remaining, Charlie Joyner looks for the National Football League record, looking for a 650th reception. Here's the onside squib.
Look at it. The Chargers are waiting for the ball to go 10 yards. Just sort of, come on, go the 10 yards. It finally does. Bounces off one of the Steelers, and they come up with it.
Charlie said he does not want the game stopped. He's a tactician. He knows his pass routes. We dwelled on it before, how many of his catches have been for first downs. Scientific wide receiver. He's caught 4 today, looking for that magic number 5 and an NFL record. Is this the play?
There he is.
Yes, a record in the National Football League. Hats off to Mr. Charlie Joyner. Well done. 650. No, well, Wes Chandler says we're keeping the ball, officials. Chandler's got the ball, an official timeout. And it just went up on the scoreboard. The all-time record. Look at Chandler. The game has been stopped for Charlie Joyner, as well it should be. Walter Payton with the rushing record this year. Charlie Joiner, the all-time reception record. A standing ovation from those who are left at Three River Stadium as Charlie Joiner heads to the far side, hands the ball over to Sid Brooks to go to the Hall of Fame, and Joiner's in the record books. That's nice.
Well, Charlie, with the motion, he ends up in his favorite position. That's in the slot. Now, watch how he works his way back to the quarterback. Come back, come back, come back. There it is. There's the record. Couldn't have happened to a person more well-deserving of this kind of recognition than Charlie Joiner. As you mentioned before, everyone likes him. And to play 16 years and have everyone like you, that's remarkable.
It really is. And I'll tell you right now what his post-game quote will be.
We didn't win.
You got it. Oh, another one for Charlie. No, over the middle to Buford McGee. He's got a first down. But the clock continues to run with 4:15 remaining and a big Steelers victory. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WFMJ, Youngstown.
Now, there are some records in football as there are in baseball and hockey and basketball, but I'm glad I can say I was there the day that Charlie Joiner became the all-time pass catcher. And I'm standing next to a man who caught a few passes in his day, and Gene Washington. I know how much you respect what Charlie Joiner has done. In fact, you played against Charlie Taylor. There's Joiner again for 651. What kind of a guy was Charlie Taylor? What kind of receptions?
Charlie Taylor played during the days when you faced mostly man-to-man defenses, and he was a beauty to watch in his execution of his patterns. Charlie Taylor could make defensive backs fall down. Just a beautiful route runner. And Charlie Taylor's he's a big guy. You know, he started off as a running back. Arizona State came in, played 1 year running back, then switched to receiver. Very dangerous after he caught the football.
Who would have thought that when Joiner was drafted over 16 years ago out of Grambling as a defensive back by Houston, he'd be the all-time pass catcher. And intended for Chandler, thrown incomplete. So the record book will show that it was Ed Luther and not Dan Fouts. That'll be a trivia question someday when Charlie Joiner caught his record catch. Who was the San Diego quarterback? And of course, people will start to say Dan Fouts. No, Dan injured his thigh late first half, and it's this man, Ed Luther, who, by the way, despite the interceptions, has completed 20 of 30. Just had a couple of too many completions to the wrong color jerseys, 3 of them. This is a 2nd and 10.
Blitz, maybe. There it comes.
Boom. McGee snowed under.
Rick Woods from his safety position.
And yet another hand for the Pittsburgh defense. So it's been a record-setting day for San Diego, some positive, some negative. They've given up the most points they've ever given up in a football game. But their favorite little wide receiver is in the record books now as we wind down to 3 minutes, 10 seconds remaining in regulation.
You know, Charlie Joiner has a shot at another record before his career winds down. He's about 1,000 yards shy of Don Maynard for the all-time yardage record, made at 11,800.
That was to Duckworth as Luther picked up the blitz on that one, but still far shy of a first down, and this will set up 4th down inside of 3 minutes now with the ball at the Pittsburgh 20. Well, there's no sign of Charlie Joiner slowing up. There's over 50 receptions for this year.
And even in practice, Charlie Joiner not only runs the pass routes for the offense in practice, but when it's time to give the defensive work, Charlie Joiner is right out there running patterns against his defense. And I guess that's why he's in such good shape.
Listen to the crowd. They've got a victory in hand on 4th down. They're crying for defense. They want to rub it in.
Duckworth, he's open,
but he can't get to it. And Coryell, despite the fact that the game is well over and long over, is unhappy at the fact that they didn't pick up their 30th point on that play. Score remains 52-24 Pittsburgh.
Duckworth was open in the end zone, but Luther just had a little too much on him.
Well, Coryell says, well, gave it a shot. Just overthrew him a bit. Now Scotty Campbell comes on. He was impressive running all over the Superdome, I thought, last Monday night. He came on after Mark Malone suffered the slight concussion. Threw a late touchdown pass to Lewis Lips. Now from the 20. Elton Veals carries it up to the 25 as we will not have another play before the 2-minute warning. So on a day that you can count as historic and also color black and gold, 52-24 is our score. And not here in Pittsburgh, but there on tape will come another one of those fantastic finishes. Congratulations, Charlie Joyner, for besting Charlie Taylor. And on a record-setting day, let's add one more record. Mark Malone has completed 81.8% of his passes this afternoon, breaking Terry Bradshaw's one-game percentage record. So one more name goes into the record book. What a day. No interceptions, 18 of 22, 81.8%. 4 touchdown passes, 3 to Stallworth, 1 to Lips, and a big smile on his face.
Several smiles over there. That trio, Stallworth, Lips, and Malone. You notice how the quarterback goes and sits with the receivers when they're doing well, and when they're not, they go sit with the defense.
All right. Final 2 minutes of the Steelers' 7th victory of 84. There was a lot of talk in the papers here in Pittsburgh how perhaps the Steelers were doing a late season swoon as they did last year after rushing out to the big record, and they needed Terry Bradshaw to come back and rescue them one quarter against the Jets, and perhaps this year losing 2 in a row and having the big lead in a marginal division, and how perhaps they were doing that again this year. But the Steelers put an end to that thought in a hurry with 52 big points, their biggest total under Chuck Noll.
And again, as long as you have a good defense, you can stay in most football games. And the Steelers defense played a terrific game today, led by the linebackers, in particular Mike Merriweather.
So Abercrombie runs it out and runs it out of bounds, stopping the clock with 1:12. That gives us a chance to thank some of the people who have made today's game possible. Behind the scenes, executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Wiseman. Coordinating producer of football, Ted Nathanson. Today's telecast, capably produced by Dave Katz and directed by Jim Cross. Technical director, Steve Semino. I'd like to thank our spotters, Tim Fogarty and Jim McGinley, and our statistician, George Jordan. Well done. Also, Bridget Rooney, one of our assistants today. Is that Rooney name ring a bell? One of Art Rooney's 32 grandchildren helping us as our runner in the booth today. Thank you, Bridget. Elton Veals, and still going. And he gets out to the 38. So we've got a minute to go now. Steelers will go 7-6, maintain that 2-game lead over Cincinnati. We have a flag down. Chargers will go to 6-7 and have to face Chicago next Monday night. Chicago playing well.
You think they aren't going to give the ball to Peyton going around that left side of the offense? The Steelers have just ruined that left side, or the right defensive side for the Chargers.
Look at this one. The Giants pull it out against Kansas City. So the Giants stay alive. Look at the Rams. You know, those were 2 scores that were the other way all day. The Rams keep it going in the NFC West. A 1-point win over Tampa Bay. Those teams stay alive. Giants and Rams. We have a minute 2 remaining in this one. 52-24 are our numbers. Pittsburgh was a slight favorite. Abercrombie finally found the hole, but stopped short of a first down around the 40. Clock continues to run with 52 seconds remaining. Cliff Thrift on the tackle. Scotty Campbell, 7th round choice out of Purdue. We'll have one more play here. 30 seconds remaining. We're staring at the last play of a Steeler victory. A big victory. Well, Abercrombie heads out of bounds, so we still have 17 seconds remaining. So we wish Dan Fouts well. Hope he can come back from his thigh injury. And Gil Bird and Doug Wilkerson. Walter Abercrombie just went over 100 yards for the first time in his career. So the big day by Abercrombie, the record-setting day by Malone with his completion percentage, the record-setting day by Joyner. Lots of records, but one the defense of San Diego is not happy about, giving up the most points their franchise has ever given up. A real record blaster today at Three River Stadium. Abercrombie 109 yards, and that'll do it.
Steeler defense, so tough. 5 turnovers, 4 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery. Of course, they played well all around, offense and defense. There's number 18, Charlie Joyner, with his record. But as you said, I'm sure he's not happy about it. He would rather have won the football game than have set a record.
So we'll be right back with some final thoughts. The final score tells a big story, though. 52-24 Pittsburgh.